Hey, good morning, Jim's Fish. Let me know if the audio and visual is okay. I'm using a different mic this morning, one that has messed up on me recently, so I want to make sure it still sounds good. Hey, Paul, good to see you. JJ's Adventures, good morning to you. I got a good topic to discuss. It's a topic that I'll need any advice from you. AB's good, thank you, sir. Hey, Hagans, good to see you. Do I got both of you or one of you? I never know. Hey, Mark, good day to you, sir. Appreciate you coming in. Too coolie for schoolie. Just Jake, Katie had to work. Hey, one Hagen's good. Two is epic. I'll wait for a few more people to pop in and we'll discuss the topic of today's live stream. I do have a video coming out at 11 a.m. Make sure you check that. It has a really good intro, as I like to add humor into my introductions. If you watch that, I'm pretty sure you'll get a laugh out of that one too. One of my favorite things to do. Make you guys laugh on my videos. So glad I could catch you live before I go to work. Me too. Yours is a name I don't see pop in a lot, so I always enjoy seeing everybody be able to come in. So I appreciate you coming in and wanting to watch for a little bit before you head to work. Yeah, just keep an eye on this microphone. Let me know if, it does sound good and keep sounding good. This one, I'll tell you what, it's interesting. I got one of those Rode mics for my videos. We all know Rode. If you're into content creating, it's a good name for microphones. You spend a little bit more for those mics, and they are good. But I went to Walmart before that and got those cheap Bauer mics. And I got to say, throughout the time of making videos using the Rode versus the Bauer mics actually sound better. They reduce more external noise and they just sound a lot more crisp. I've noticed that by making my videos. I don't know why my dog decides to come in here and get a drink of water when I'm on these live streams and making videos. I think he does it on purpose. He's a boxer. He's got a big tongue. He's got them big flaps, and it makes a lot of noise. But I have found that those cheap Bauer mics at Walmart sound better than the Rode mic that I have. But lately, both of them have, when I was making videos, it was messing up a little bit, so I had to stop using them. Now, these Bauer mics do have an internal battery that you have to put in. Maybe that battery's just getting low, and I can replace it and see if it fixes it, because I am more impressed with these Bauer mics than I am the Rode mics. But my Rode mic I've been using recently because it's consistent. It isn't failing. It doesn't have an internal battery. It just runs off the power of your device. So that's the one I've been using, but it does not sound as good as the cheap one. Hey, Fishion, good to see you. Hey, Mad Mac, good morning. Good to see you. Appreciate you stopping in, showing some support, saying hello. Get some more people in here, and we'll discuss this live stream topic for today. And prior to my live streams and videos, when I have a subject I want to discuss, I go into people's live streams and ask questions related to them to get other people's input before I start them. So not only with my own experience and trying these things for myself, I also go by what different people have to say before I go ahead and do any kind of videos or live streams about them. Good day, Dixon. I see you comment on one of my weird videos this morning. I appreciate that. There's a blitter. It's very soft. Yes, okay. I appreciate that. See, that's what this mic has been doing. I can't stand that. I wonder if the battery's just getting dead on it. Let me go ahead and swap the mic out real quick. Just takes a second. Okay, I swapped mics. Can you guys hear me? Is the audio still good? And did that static fluttering go away? Fish Fam links in. I am watching from beginning in high speed. I appreciate it, Dixon. A lot of my order videos too. Thank you, Jim's Fish. So the Rode mic is better as far as durability, but when you first get those Bauer mics, they're really good. Like I say, it just might be a battery swap, and they're a lot cheaper. A lot of my older videos, Dixon, I speed my videos up a little bit to about 110, and some of them I sped them up to 120. And the reason why I did that is because I'm trying to shorten, keep the videos as short as possible. But I already talk fast in the first place. And when you combine the two, I've received comments such as, "Man, did you drink 3 cups of coffee before you made this video?" Thank you, Jim's Fish. Much better. Okay, cool. So, a lot better. Okay, so we'll just stick to the Rode mic then. Melvin in the building. Is this a new name, Melvin? I haven't seen this one before. Morning, Laser. Everyone's saying hello. We'll always love to see that. Good interaction. So we got about 15 people in here. I am going to go ahead and start jumping into the topic of today's live stream. And if you've seen it, it is moving fish, especially over long distances. So there is a possibility that I'm going to be moving. And I'll be moving to Florida. Some of you already know about this. Down near in West Palm Beach. I'll be down there next to Garcia so I can make his life harder. If we do end up making this move, that's a 10-hour drive, and I have a lot of fish varying from large to small. By far, I've moved several times in my life, and moving is a terrible process in itself. But when you add on having to move 12 tanks, most of them being larger tanks, as well as the fish, you've turned a move into hard to insane. Hey, Acid, no, I'm not moving for work reasons. It's for a few reasons. One, better quality of life. We want to get near family. 2, my wife's always wanted to live in Florida. We love palm trees and the nice weather. We've both been to Florida many times. We do enjoy it. But the biggest reason is to be around family, have more resources, being able to help each other. It makes holidays more enjoyable when you can be around family. I just wish the other half of my family was able to come, but they live up in Pennsylvania and I don't have no interest in moving. Fishion says, I've moved some fish from Tennessee to Wisconsin in the winter in a U-Haul. Angelfish beta, but nothing crazy. It was tiring though. Just me and my wife and one kid. Not too bad, but tiring. Well, I appreciate that experience because I'm going to need it. That is the purpose of having this conversation, because I want to get some input from you. I'm going to share you my plan of doing it. My original plan was to just get rid of all the fish so I don't have the added stress of it. Much easier to move the tanks than all the fish as well. But when I get down there, I don't want to start over. I have so many fish that are so happy, so healthy. I've raised them from babies, and grown them up over the years. And I hate to move down there and start over, have to buy all new fish. I just don't want to do it. I want to take the chance to bring them with me. But we all know that the easiest thing would be to just get rid of them and start over. Give them some good homes, but I don't want to do that. You get attached to them a little bit. I really don't want to start over with this many fish. I have a lot of them. And I know it's stressful on them too to do a move like that, but it's about a 10-hour drive. So here's my idea. You guys listen to what I want to do to move them, and then you give me your thoughts and input and maybe some better suggestions if you don't mind. Aquaballs lives in Orlando, Florida, going back to Los Angeles from our trip. Okay. Allison says, when I moved, I gave the fish away and sold them and started over. Okay. So, Mad Max, I have 2 big Oscars. I have 2 big blood parrots. I got 2 big Snow King plecos. My angel fish, I consider large now. I have a Jack Dempsey behind me. I have a 75-gallon full of Mbunas that are reaching the 6-inch mark. A lot of them are, and a lot of them are growing to get that big. I've got 4 fancy goldfish that are large. Tiger barbs are medium-sized fish. That's probably it for my largest fish, and the rest is your Danios, your Platies, your neon tetras, your glow tetras, black skirt tetras. I got Pictus catfish. I got 1 surviving Cory cat that's really old, but I think he's on his way out. I've got Ember tetras, 2 betas, 2 Serpe tetras. You get the idea. Hey, y'all can't stay, but good morning. We'll be in a bit if you're still going. Okay, Tommy, appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, you just heard what I said I got. So my idea is to do this. I've already got a tote for every canister filter underneath my tanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I figured I'd get a few more larger totes and some more smaller totes that I can take those totes and take some sand out of every tank to put in those totes, fill them up with water, and they have lockable lids. On those lids, I wanted to drill holes through it, insert an air stone in every tote, and have an inverter to run every air stone for oxygen. I don't want to have to worry about battery operated ones like I did before. I know that they're going to have power the whole time. And also in those totes, I was going to add some Seachem stress guard. And I was going to line them all up on some foam, like those ones you can get that piece together like a puzzle to help so the totes don't slide around. And then I was going to build a wooden kind of like frame around everything to keep them still. The only thing I'm not sure how to do or how to maintain the temperature in those totes during the whole 10-hour trip. I don't want them to get too warm. When I was moving in the past, I had fish die in a cooler because it got too hot in the car, and it just essentially they all died, which is crazy because they survived the trip down to Florida, but they did not survive the trip back. So I got to figure out how to maintain that temperature, but that's the process in a nutshell. You let me know what you guys would think. You let me know what you guys would do. Let me get caught up on chat. Melvin says, I just dropped. I'm Melvin LLC because it wasn't working. So people love my catchphrase. Melvin's in the building. So people been putting. Okay, cool. Allison says, for my last move from New Jersey to Pennsylvania, if the company put us in a temporary hotel until they found another house, so I could not keep them. Okay. I understand that. Max says, for a 10-hour drive, I won't worry about putting the air in the totes. Really? See, I figured in a totes with no air movement and quite a bit of fish in each tote. I mean, even if I have both Oscars and one big tote, I mean, they're going to be producing quite a bit of ammonia in a tote. I just figured I would need the oxygen to help get the gas off. And I didn't know. I just figured 10 hours was a little bit too long to not have an air stone for oxygen purposes. But if you say it's not needed, this is why I wanted to do this live stream and talk with you guys, because that's something I would have never imagined. I would have thought I would absolutely have to have air stones for that kind of a trip. So going to be about a 10-hour drive, but you know, you also have to make up for the unforeseen. What if there's roads construction, accidents? What if a tire blows on the U-Haul? A 10-hour drive could easily turn into an 11 to 12-hour drive. Dixon, I would have to put the air in for my own peace of mind. That's where I'm at, Dixon. But again, I want everybody's input on this to make this as easy as possible. And there's price tag coming in. Good to see you, buddy. So that's where I'm at. If we end up making this drive, what is the best way to move these fish so I don't have to start over? And of course, when you're moving and you're a fish keeper like us, the fish tanks are the last thing to go on the truck, and they're the first thing to take off. So as soon as you get to your destination, you can set those aquariums up, get them filled up, and get the fish in there as soon as possible. Now, the other problem with this is these guys have grown up in this water here in North Carolina where I live. If I move down there, Florida has different water. I've talked to Garcia Aquatics about it. Would you think that there should be an acclimation process there? Because these fish are going to be going into water they're not used to, that they've been raised on. Should I fill the tanks, plop and drop when they get in there? Or would you do an acclimation process? I have a homemade IV drip thing that I made to slowly drip water into buckets, or in this case, it would be the totes, and then put them in, because it's going to be completely different water than they're used to. From what I understand, the water in Florida is harder. That's going to be a change for my fish, among other things. So in my mind, I think there needs to be an acclimation process to get used to the new water, so I don't shock them, because they're already going to be stressed out from being in a tote and driving for 10 hours and the water constantly doing this, washing around. So they're already going to be a little stressed after netting them out, putting them in there. So what would you do with that? Would you acclimate the fish to the new water when you get there to help them relax a little bit? I don't want, to try to eliminate losing fish. Don't feed them for a couple days before you put them in the tote. So that should help. Yep, absolutely, Raisin. That's a great point to add in, and that's something I do know, and that is definitely a great point to add in. I appreciate that. Fishing on had angels die. I forgot I had them in this bucket that I use for extra plants clippings. Out of muscle memory, I just added plants. Oh boy, hey, it happens, man. Depends on how many fish are in each container. With all them Bunas, I agree. And then you could almost say the same thing, Allison, for the two large Oscars. You have a crap ton of 2 to 6 inch fish, but then you have two very large Oscars. I would imagine you need an air stone in that situation as well. Do not feed the food. Feed 2 days prior. Robert Reed, right in line. I also think in Salient that it would be a cool brand name for my YouTube channel, an aquatic brand, since I started breeding fish. Absolutely, man. For me, when it comes to names, like you have MITB LLC. I get the LLC, but MITB can be hard to figure out what that means. I've always been one to spell out a simple, cool name, but that's just me. Hey, Skitty. Good to see you. Okay. Mad Max says, Here's why I say this. I have 3 hour. I live 3 hours away from Phoenix, Arizona. I go to our club meeting and buy fish at the auction. Most fish get bagged the night before. The meeting goes from 11 to 3, so 17 hours in bags. Well, that's crazy, Mad Max, because I heard that you shouldn't leave fish in bags longer than like a few hours. So that's crazy. See, I'm learning. This is great. 17 hours in bags, and they're still good. Yes, Allison. I am literally going to leave the substrate in the tanks, just drain the water down as much as I can. I'm going to leave the plants in there. I'm just going to leave enough water in there to keep everything wet and keep the good bacteria alive. And I'm going to pick the tanks up, slide them in the truck. I'm going to leave everything in them I can, the rocks, the decor, and everything. Just get the heaviest part out, which is the water, is down as far as possible, and just pick the tanks up and slide them in. So obviously when they get to their destination, I'm just filling it up. So all that good bacteria is still going to be in the canister filters and on the substrate and decor. Sorry, I don't have enough knowledge to help on this subject, so I'm here to learn too. Cool, Hagen, and that's what it's all about. I figured this would be a fantastic subject to talk about for everybody, and at the same time, get your guys' input to help me make this easier. I said, you're moving anywhere near Imperial Tropicals, Lakeland. I've been to Lakeland, Florida, but I don't think I'll be in Palm Beach, which is near the bottom of Florida, like close to where Garcia is. Well, Wellington, Loxahatchee, and Palm Beach. Good morning, Austin. Get caught up here. Hey, Bunny, good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. Your daughter's in Palm Bay. Okay. And Allison says fish are shipped from all over the world and are in bags for more than 24 hours at a time. Of course, the shippers use pure O2. They do. Okay. And that's what they fill them up. Just like I'm assuming you mean when you go to like PetSmart or Petco and you buy fish and they blow it up and that bag's real tight. Same deal, right? But this is going to be by far my biggest worry, my most stress of this whole thing. Getting these fish there safely and back in an aquarium with new water that they're not used to. It's satisfying when I am working on a new 55 today. Oh, so you get to set that up, Dixon? Going to set it up finally? Well, some of the things I've learned so far, just with talking with Mad Max and Allison, and I didn't realize that fish could live in the bags that long. So that's something that helps relieve some stress. Fishing on says, when I get to Wisconsin, I just slowly added 10-gallon took me. When I got to Wisconsin, I just slowly added 10-gallon 3 weeks before it was full, but I had to check for chlorine and such. Prime helped and worked for me. I'm pretty sure that was extra. I mean, I'll be using Prime too to dechlorinate the water when I get there. That's what I use. Price Tag says, I just did my very first order from Imperial Tropicals, hoping for a good experience. I've heard all good things. Excuse my hiccups. Okay. I don't have a lot of experience buying fish online. I bought fish online one time, and that was through Live Aquaria, and I had a good experience with them. But that was back in like 2016. They showed up in a nice, I think it was like a styrofoam cooler or something like that, and they had heat packs in there, and it was white cloud minnows. But he says, wish Tommy was here. He'll be coming to get my fish on the 16th. I'm sure he has plenty of knowledge on this subject. Yeah, buddy, me too. He was in. He said he'd be going to pop in back later if I'm still on. Fishion says, gotta have a wonderful day. Got to go. Have a wonderful day. Okay, Fishion, appreciate you, buddy. Might still be on when you come in. I don't know. Probably not. You're working. Yes, Salient. Melvin in the building. Okay, that would be a long name to put on a t-shirt to abbreviate. Yeah, I got you on that for sure. But like for me, MITB, the only reason why I said what I said is because when I look at that, I have no idea what that means. But now, however, if you have a website and it's spelled out, then the MITB would be kind of a given and understood. But to look at your channel name, MITB, wonder what that means. That's all I was talking about. But I like it. Melvin in the building. New Local also says, I could use a review going to Dallas with guppies and some bristles. I feel like Stephen P. already did this for an event in Slidell. I could use a review. Well, what do you mean, Austin, you could use a review? Scotty says, closer to Melbourne or Vero Beach? Jupiter, West Palm Bay? All I know is Palm Beach is the county. And, West Palm Beach. All those surrounding little towns like Wellington's, Loxahatchee. I don't know them all. Use polyfilter in each container. Okay, Alison, I do use polyfill in my hang in the backs, but what do you mean? What would I use the polyfilter for? Are you saying using polyfill? Like you just put in your hang in the backs? Or what do you mean just by... I wasn't even going to do a filter. I was just going to put air stones in each one. I know when I kept the first name of our dairy business because it's simple and sort of catchy. I'm just messing with you. You don't have to say. Oh, no, I don't mind, Sketty. But I at this point, I don't even know where I'm going to be because we're just looking at houses now. And the family and the wife has already looked at 10 different ones. So it could be anywhere, but I just know it's in that area of Palm Beach, Wellington, those areas. Loxahatchee. Your Bass Pro will be where my daughter feeds alligators. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I understand from what you were saying. Okay, cool, buddy. So does anybody else have any input on moving fish over long distances? Other than why is my Google going off by itself? Sometimes I think this place is haunted. Port St. Lucie is a great market value. Okay. And the nice thing is, too, when we get there, what I want to do, as opposed to having all my aquariums in my big dining room like I have now, my idea is to be putting them in the garage this time. This keeps them out of the house. If there's ever a leak, it's in a garage. It's not as detrimental. And the cool thing about that is I have almost like my own little fish cave, my man cave type thing. And I'm not taking any of the space up in the house because I hear that a lot from the wife already. But I will have to heat and cool the garage. So that's an extra expense because I have a garage here that I had the tank set up and I had to shut it down because it was starting to reach temperatures of 92 degrees in the dang aquarium. And that's getting too hot. So I just can't do it unless you buy one of those. Whether you get one of them Mr. Cool things like KG Tropical did, just hanging on the walls, you can install it yourself to heat and cool the space. Bucket air stones, water conditioner, put them in a 20-gallon at the show. Water change daily. I'm traveling with Vibes, and he has a lot of experience with rescues. Bucket air stones, water conditioner, put them in a 20-gallon at the show. Water change daily. Okay, Austin. I see what you're saying. Floors are on a slab anyway. Yeah, Sketty, my house here is all slab. That's why I get away with having so many tanks. Yeah, and what's cool about that, JJ, is that my daughter is into horseback riding and she takes lessons, so that's right up her alley. And we've seen that exactly what you're saying. This one house we were looking at, if you were sitting on the back lanai or whatever you call it, where your pool is, your view is an equestrian place where you can see horses they keep over there. I think it's called Tibbets. It's freaking hot. No cold showers there. This one house we were looking at, Skitty, has an outdoor shower too. So I thought that'd be great for a lot of things, like bathing your dogs, or myself. I don't know why I'd need to shower outside, but I have a Mr. Cool as well. Okay, yeah, that's what I'd have to get and heat and cool that garage. But the nice thing about too is I can get my monster tank I want. Sarah is Port Lucie near Tampa, Florida. Edward says, good morning. I always did this when I moved. I would first set up the tanks to go. Then I moved the tanks first and allowed the fish to settle in before I actually moved all the rest of my things. So let me read that again. I always did this first when I moved. I would set up all the tanks to go. Then move the tanks first and allowed the fish to settle in before I actually moved all the rest of my things. Not sure what you mean by that, Edward. Polyfill from Bio Marine comes in stiff sheets. You cut the sheets into cubes and add to each container. It absorbs ammonia. You will change color from white to brown as it's working. Okay, polyfilter. It absorbs ammonia. Wow. Okay, I never heard of that. I didn't know that they had. I know about polyfill and the sheet filters that you can cut the size. I didn't know they made one that just sat there and absorbed ammonia. And so biomarine. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, Edward, I'm not sure what you meant by that. My discussion is moving fish over long distances. In this case, 10 hours or more. My idea was to put totes with some sand from the tanks in each tote that they go into and add an air stone with lockable lids and holes in the lids. Add some stress guard to help keep stress on the download. And if I can get some of these things that Allison was talking about from Biomarine to absorb ammonia, stick those in there. It says, hello, first things that moved were the tanks. Is what I did when moving. Okay, so, yeah, but I can't do that, Eduardo, because this is like a 10-hour drive. So I'm not going to go down and take the tanks and then come back for the fish type of thing. I can't do that. So I got to move them all together. But that's a good idea. I use polyfilter cubes in each bag when I bring fish to auctions. Okay. I wonder if Mad Max knows about those. He probably won't do it because, he's had luck with the way he does it. So why change it, right? But I don't know. I just want to make this as seamless and easy as possible. I don't want to have any fish deaths. I want to keep this stress as low as possible for them. My biggest thing is how do I keep the temperature regulated? They're most likely going to be in either the back of a U-Haul or in a vehicle. Should I put cold packs in each tote, or will that get? Is it better to keep the water cool for a 10-hour trip? Like throwing a few cold packs in each tote just to try to keep the water at a neutral degree? Or what's the best way to do that? I know that I can't have it get too hot. And some of the back of them U-Hauls can get very hot. I lost some fish that way because I had them in a cooler one time and they just got way too hot and it killed them. So I feel like I'm going to want some kind of cold packs to put in with them to keep that water temperature stabilized the best I can. But then what cold packs? If that's the protocol, if you're putting a cold pack directly in a tote with fish, you don't want to get them ones that can leak, right? that gel crap or whatever's inside of them. So what's the best way to do that? How do you keep the water temperature stabilized without having an issue? Wonder if they make like a pad that I could put down under the totes that you plug in, or like a cooling pad or something. Or do I plug in a fan and blow a fan over top of them? The fish came with me mostly in airstone buckets. I would set the tanks up first in the house and kept the fish in the buckets until the tanks were ready. Always used the substrates. Filter sponge. Okay. Yeah, that was my idea too, to add some of the sand that's in with them now into the totes for some good beneficial bacteria. And of course, once I get the tank set up, it'll all go back in. When it gets too hot in my outside tubs, I freeze water in 2-liter soda bottles and place them in the tubs. Sorry. It brings the temp down slowly. Okay. So that's an idea. Maybe start saving up some, like, what do you think? Maybe would gallon jugs work? Or do you think they would get cracked? Once the tanks were ready, fish moved before I did. Okay. So you went ahead and did that first. Say, I figured when I'm packing up, I would figure my aquariums and fish would be the last thing to take care of and do, and the first thing to take off the truck when I get there. Two Coolies for Schoolie is back again. Good to see you, buddy. Lurking. So yes, any input, any advice you guys can give me to help make this easier would be great. At the same time, other people were learning as well. Like Hagen said, this is a great learning experience for them. What's the best way to move fish? The easiest way. Outside of common sense, how do you keep them less stress-free as possible and arrive alive? Maybe halfway through the trip, switch out some of the water. I don't know if that'd be necessary. I like the idea, Sketty, but I don't know if that'd be necessary because I am putting sand in with them from the tanks. So they are going to have that good beneficial bacteria, but I still get your mentality on that because it's such a smaller space than they're used to. And the ammonia can build up faster because they're going to be pooping in there. Even if you don't feed them 2 days prior to moving, they should be cleaned out, but they still got to breathe, which creates ammonia. So you think at the 5-hour mark, get out, but that would make things so much harder because I'd have to keep jugs of water with me to do that and then siphon it out. If you also have stopped feeding, it helps a lot. Yep, they were discussing that prior. Yeah, she got it. Yep, just don't feed them 2 days before the move, or maybe even through a few days so they're completely cleaned out. Which isn't a problem for me because I feed them every other day. So if I throw on one more day, it's not going to be a big deal. It's not like they're used to being fed every day, or 2 times a day. They get fed once every other day. So they're kind of accustomed to that anyways. Drive really fast. I thought about that, but all that. I got it. One thing's for certain. I got to make sure that the lids lock, and I have to make sure they're stabilized and not sliding around. I have 2 plans for that. I don't know if you heard I discussed that, but it's I'm going to put them on foam to reduce sliding, and I'm going to build some a wooden crate around them to keep them still as well. Is that in Florida, sir? Because I have a high school classmate that lives in Florida with her husband and her kids, St. Lucie. But that is the possible plan. That seems to be a pretty serious thing that's going to be happening. is to sell and move to Florida, but I want to take all my fish with me. I don't want to start over. I don't want to get rid of them. I have too many of them, and it costs too much money to start over. It just does. Plus, you get attached to some of these guys, and you learn your fish, and you learn their personality, and stuff like that is priceless. If you have that one fish that's tilting a little bit after it's been maybe 3 weeks after a water change, you said, you learn that, okay, he wants a water change. I can tell by the way he's acting. When you get new fish, you're relearning them all over again. Removing any cory cats. Some species will exude a substance that will kill them, especially stirred by sissy feelers. Allison, I have one cory cat. It is one of those pepper ones. I'm looking at him right now, but I'm pretty sure he's on his last leg. He's been acting weird the last couple of days. He's a pretty old cory cat. I've had him a long time. He's the last living one of all the ones I had. And I can't remember the name of it. Here's what I can do, though. Maybe I can hook up one of my other cameras and show you, but he's getting along just fine right now, but he's old, and he shows in his age. In the last couple of days, the way he's been laying on stuff, I thought he was dead, and he wasn't. So only one left. Peplin uses that absorbing. Yes, and Allison was talking about that sketty. It's a poly filter that absorbs ammonia. Fish personality is priceless. Yeah, you get to know your fish, and once you learn your fish, just like any, when they're going to poop. We have two birds that we know when they're about to poop. That's what I mean. Stuff like that. If there's something going on with your dog, just because you've had him long enough, and you can tell by his mannerisms there's something wrong. You get to that same way with your fish, and I hate, not that it's hard to start over. I just don't want to. Money wise, and I know these fish. I like these fish. I've raised them. I would like to keep them. Boy, does it cost a lot to start over. I'm finding that out after my 25 plus year hiatus. Yeah, Dixon, absolutely. And the prices since then have increased dramatically. I mean, you go to the store and they want anywhere from $12 to $15 for an Oscar. Oh, that's cool, Eduardo. That's a good situation you had there. You had resources that really helped you there. That's cool. But so what I have, Sketty, is those. You know how you can go to like Tractor Supply. I mean, would be like Menards for some people. They sell them foam mats that look like puzzle pieces that lock together. I have those. I was going to do those. Eduardo says he set up his tanks. Not a single fish died. Took him 2 months to arrive. Oh, very cool. That's because you're a master aquatics. That's pretty cool. So it's good that you're in here to help share your experience with me. Good morning, Atkins. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. I just set up his tanks. Good morning to you. Whoops. I use the thick blue kind like construction. So are you talking about like I know what you're talking about. The name's escaping me. You use it mainly in like showers and stuff because it reduces mold. What is the name of that? It's blue board. I'm talking about blue board. It's an insulation type thing. Yeah, Atkins, and that's the topic of today's live stream and how to move fish over a long distance. In my case, it could be anywhere from 10 to 11 hours. I don't want to get rid of my fish and start over. I want to bring them with me. I had some ideas on how I wanted to do it. If you want to, when this is done, you can rewatch that live stream, but I will touch on some of the things we've talked about already. But if you have any experience in moving fish over a long distance, your input is more than welcome. I have some ideas how I'm going to do it. But I just want to make sure they arrive alive, safe, and as less stress as possible. Have the tank set up in the new place before breaking down the old ones. Well, that's the problem, Atkins. The old ones are going to be the ones that my aquariums are coming with me, all of them. They're going to go right back in their homes when I get there. But I can't make 2 trips. This is going to be a 1 trip. You're talking about a 10 to 11 hour drive. So my fish tanks and fish are going to be the last thing to be taken and the first thing to set up when I get there. So I'm going to have a tote set up with some substrate in each one. And I'm going to put them on foam pads so to reduce sliding and, like Sketty said, vibration. And then I'm probably going to build like some kind of wood crating to keep them from sliding around. I thought they're all going to have locking lids. I'm going to drill holes in the lids, and I thought I was going to put an air stone in each one. Add some stress guard to help reduce fish and just go. And then when I get there, pull the tanks out, set them up, fill them up, out. And I think I'm going to have to acclimate the fish to the new water because Florida has harder water than I got here. And I don't want to shock them from that, as they're already going to be stressed from the move. All this washing around. My biggest worry is keeping the tank temperature, the totes water and the totes temperature from overheating. And Allison gave me some good tips for that. So I want to keep the water cool. Non-blue. Nah, blue board's expensive. I just do foam insulation. Okay. That means new tanks, though. No, I'm taking my tanks with me. So, like, I'll pull my fish out and put them in the totes that I set up in the truck. Once all the fish are out, I lift all my tanks and stands up and put them in the truck. Then when I get to where I'm going, I pull all the stands and tanks out, set them back up, and then get them filled up and then add the fish. But it is going to mean new tanks because I can get more because they're going in a garage. I want to get my monster tank. What Richard? Who Richard are you talking about? Who's Richard? Richard's setup has been redone twice, so he has the experience. He and I are going to meet up when I get there. Yes, that was my idea. I got a power inverter. It's a 2000 water, and I thought about using that to run all the air stones instead of using them battery backup ones. I could easily run all the air stones and all the totes needed off that inverter. I may even use one of the plugs as a fan, blow a fan on the totes as well. Go with the flow, Richard. I don't know who that is. Go with the flow, Richard. I'm not sure who that is. Keep the ideas and advice coming, guys. I got to go to the bathroom real quick. Be right back. Sorry about that. Too much coffee this morning. Get one pump to run multiple totes off some splitters. Yep. Yes, sir. That is, you got it. Richard Reynolds. I don't know who that is. Setting up the tank first. Just give the fish a quicker way to assimilate, and you can easily walk around the house setting up while the fish feel safe. Richard Reynolds, he lives near me in Lehigh. Okay. Hey, Sweet Koi, appreciate you coming in. And by the way, if anybody wants to come up and chat, there's the link. Feel free. On my live stream, you're more than welcome to come up. Talk some tanks, share your tanks. So I'm approaching 11.9 subscribers on my channel. And I'm approaching 3,000 watch hours. So I'm getting this close to being able to hit that monetize button. So if anybody in here can and is willing, doesn't have a lot going on, if you can help watch some of my content to help drive up them watch hours, it'd be most appreciated. Once I get monetized and the channel gets bigger, you guys can expect some really nice gifts in return. So the more you watch, like, subscribe, and share my content out, the bigger the channel gets. It's going to benefit not only me, but it's going to benefit you guys too. Because when I do giveaways, it's not going to be little itty bitty food samples. I'm going to be giving away some really nice things. But I have to start creating revenue from this to do that. So any help and support from you guys is appreciated, whether you're working in the garden or you're doing something around the house, washing dishes, cleaning the house. Throw on my Salient Aquatics podcast on my playlist and just let it hit play all and just let it run. It would be much appreciated to help me get up there a little quicker, if you don't mind. I hate to ask. I don't like asking, but I'm just so close to that 3K. And of course, 4K watch hours would be better. But either way, I'm happy. I'm not picky. And I'm super excited how fast my channel is growing. And it doesn't happen unless it's all for you. So I want to be able to give back to you guys for helping me and supporting me. But I want to do it good. Dixon said, I've been pushing the watch hours for you. Thank you, Dixon. I certainly appreciate it. And I know you have. It's great. But yeah, I have most of my bigger videos that actually contain teaching and knowledge and fish education and things like that, all in my Salient Aquatics podcast. And you can find that on my playlist. If you tap that and hit play all, it'll go through every video and you don't have to do anything. It'll just keep going. Allison says, I doubt the water will affect your Mbunas. They're adaptable. Yeah, I agree, Allison. And right now, I actually keep my Mbunas in the higher pH. I naturally buffer it, and I do add the cichlid lake salt. So they're already used to, all these guys have been raised, born and raised in a higher pH water. So from what I understand, the Florida water is harder, so they'll be fine. And I think most fish are adaptable, but I do feel like for the rest of them, I'm going to have to assimilate them to the new water a little bit, just because I know they're already stressed out from the move. Some guy in there with a net scooping them out. So I just want to, keep them in low light, stress guard, and just maybe assimilate them so I don't shock them anymore, type of thing. It's going to be a stressful move, that's for sure. Absolutely. Can I watch older videos? I've already watched older ones since I met you. Oh, absolutely. I think I have all those videos in my podcast, Koi. And I certainly appreciate that support and hearing that you watch my stuff. No, I'm not promising all my older stuff is that great, because it's just learning and doing things. But yeah, any videos you watch is great. I do have a new one coming out at 11 a.m. this morning. The intro on it's hilarious. You'll love it. I like to add humor. So you should definitely enjoy that one coming out. Yes, and I have a computer on autoplay at night too. Oh, thank you, Dixon. That's great. I appreciate it. I'm just getting so dang close. So close. Last I checked, I think I was at 2,112 watch hours. Of course, these live streams help a lot. And of course, anything that you watch helps too and goes and contributes to that. I've said it a lot on my live stream, but I'm happy for your success, sir. I'm excited to see that monster tank. I appreciate you, Austin. Me too. I want to get one that's about 300 gallons and up. Of course, the bigger the better. You do find a lot of deals. I'm being patient with it until I find that monster tank that I get for either free or super cheap. And as far as aquariums go, that's just the last aquarium I'd want. I just want one more aquarium, but I want it to be really big and keep all my other ones. That's my plan. So I'm being patient with it, and it's going to be great because I want to keep arowana, and there's some large fish I want to keep, and I can't wait till that day comes. But like I was saying on my channel, my goal, and I know I've said this before, but to the people who haven't heard it, and the reason why I'm asking you guys to help me get them watch time hours up is because once I get large enough, and since I've gotten all these subscribers, I have seen my watch hours increase. I'm getting a lot more comments on my views on my videos too, but the watch hours are lacking. And so I try to add humor and different things to help that and stuff that, generally helps people. And I've received a lot of comments over the last 2 years where people, thank you for making this video. I didn't know that. And that's my favorite thing. The truly helping people and truly making people laugh. That's my favorite thing about all this. As well as meeting friends, you guys, and learning together and supporting each other. The bigger my channel gets and I get monetized, maybe I can get to the point where I get 4,000 watch hours and I can get ads and generate even more income and revenue from doing this. Maybe vendors such as Fluval and other people say, hey, we want to send something to this guy. He's getting a lot of traction. Maybe they send me a canister filter or a hang on the back filter that costs a lot of money. Things like medicines and stuff like that. If I can start getting these things, I don't need them. These are things that I want to give away, not little sample packets of food. I want to give away expensive, valuable stuff to show the appreciation to you guys. Shipping covered by me, of course, and you guys actually get quality, expensive stuff that you can use and something you can be excited about. And of course, when I do live stream like that, it will be a subscriber only mode because I don't want someone coming in and winning the giveaway that's hardly ever here and isn't even subscribed. So you can rest assured that those kind of things will be put in line. I don't put any of my live streams in subscriber modes because I welcome everybody to come. But if we get to that point where we get that large and I'm doing a giveaway, you can rest assured that it will only be the people like you who support all the time and comment and hang out and become friends that can win. That is my plan. I want to be able to give away FX4, FX6s, medication, good high quality foods, and not just a sample pack, a big bag of them. That's what it's going to be about. So the more you can help support me, the more you can watch, the more you can help me get them watch hours up, share my stuff out. It's going to benefit us all. And maybe that wheel that we do isn't the best way. I mean, I do like doing that giveaway wheel through the Fish Fam link. It is a good way to make it as fair as possible, but maybe I can think of something else to make it even more fair. What monster tank? Exactly. I don't have one yet. But when I get another one, it's going to be big. I want to get anywhere from 300 to 800 gallon to 1,000 gallon tank. If the price is right and I can get one, that's my next and only other tank I'll probably ever buy. And I want it to be one big monster tank. Even wild fish are adaptable. I have bred wild Tanganyikans in tap water, no additives. Okay, very cool. And Allison, you're very knowledgeable. I appreciate you coming in and sharing your knowledge. This is what it's all about, learning. Talk to only Oscars. Talk to June. Yeah, we talk all the time. I think she's got a 450 or something like that and a 300. but I want ideally 500 gallons and up. I get like 5,000 to 6,000 watch hours, but folks forget to subscribe. How do you get that many? That's what I don't understand. How are you getting that many watch hours? I have been doing this now for about 2 years, and this is the most watch hours I ever had, and I got to fight tooth and nail for it. I don't understand. I try everything. All my content goes through an SEO checklist. They get all the high-ranking keywords and hashtags. I post at the right times. I add humor. I've done subtitles, but not a lot of people like that, so I got rid of them. I listen to your guys' input, and I change. It's like I can't get them watch hours up. I just can't. So it doesn't help that a lot of people don't really like to watch long-form content unless you're doing something very interesting. But it's mainly based on the shorts, and shorts really don't give you watch time hours. So it's like, how do you get those watch time hours like that? Right now, the only thing really driving my watch time hours is doing these live streams. I want the huge blue Rubbermaid tubs with the acrylic fronts. I've seen those, Sketty. I've seen those. I wanted to get one of those. It's like a little aquarium. It's cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. Mods and dropping links. Hello to you, Plushie. It's good to see you coming in. But I know we talked prior. Yeah, that does help. Definitely. Yeah. And that's one thing my channel does last. My main moderator isn't in here right now, Laura. But yeah, definitely dropping links and getting people to tap on them and check things out works. Food is good. That's right, Salient. Sweet Acres. I need to make some more moderators too, but it has to be somebody that consistently comes into my lives, and Laura does that. She must have been busy the last couple of times. She didn't make my Tank and Tuesday one, but she apologized for that. She was busy grocery shopping, I think. So that happens, you know. But I need to get some more moderators that come in frequently and can be here to help me moderate. Anybody that's interested in that job, let me know. I'll make you a moderator after this live stream. Or I can get on and do it now. Just let me know. And I don't expect you to be here every time life happens, but if I'm going to make somebody a moderator, I need them to be here like quite a bit. But, you know, life happens, so I don't expect it every day. Yeah. Yeah, June's – she needs them. She loves them big Oscars. Safe travels to you, Laser. Cars in. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. Beep, beep. I have long videos on how to build DIY pond that has over 20,000 views. Okay, yeah. So that's definitely going to blow me out of the water because I'm not doing anything like that. So that's good. Good for you. Now we just need to get you the subscribers and you'll be monetized. So if no one's, and I think everybody here already is, but if you're not subscribed to Sweet Acres Koi Farm, definitely do it. She takes you around. The one live stream I was watching, you were going around looking at a koi event, and you do some cool things over there. They use blue tabs for QT at Bass Pro. Blue tubs. Okay. Man, I'm up still working. Haven't been to sleep yet. Man, go to bed. Go sleep. Time to get sleep. You're going to crash hard tomorrow for sure. Oh, to be young again. Wait till you get to be my age, Dixon. You're just a young buck. So let me know if anybody's interested in getting some mod. My wife's a mod, but she never comes on. Tommy's a mod. He's usually here, but he was busy today. So yeah, definitely. Back to the subject of the live stream. Best way to move fish over a long distance. I've already received a lot of good replies on that. So anything else you have on that, feel free to let me know. Some tips and tricks to make it as easy as possible. Keep them arriving alive. Wives are good stuff. Car, I'm dead right now. Slept 3 hours yesterday before work. I'm going to sleep like an angel today. Oh, man. You guys are crazy. Yes, you're 72. Yeah, where do you get to be my age? You're just a young buck. 72. 72. I'm 42. He was here a little bit ago, Plushy. Pass me the wrench. Car wants a wrench? Okay, let me do that. Appreciate you, Car. Let's do it right now. Whoops. Why isn't it coming up? Here it is. Here you go, Car. Appreciate you wanting to help out. I am, on the other hand, below average and what, Sketty? Oh, wives are good. Oh, stop it. Yeah, anybody else that wants to help me out and be a mod that consistently comes here, just let me know and I'll set you up. I noticed that the chat comes up faster when I'm looking at the live stream on my phone than it does on StreamYard. I need some more good moderators. So what else do you guys want to discuss? You guys getting into anything recently you needed some help with or wanted to talk about? Feel free to ask in the chat. Spin to the like button. Plushy's almost done with his pond. And again, if anybody is interested in coming up on the panel, here's the link. I always love having a guest and chatting. I do stream to Facebook at the same time as YouTube. And I wish TikTok would allow you to do that. And I would stream to that one too, because I've got over 3,000 followers over there. I wish they allowed that, but they don't. The Skitty, the birds will be easy, very easy. We put them in their travel cages and we just put them in the car and go. Of course, they get stressed out too. One thing I've noticed about birds is they do not like change. They absolutely hate change. If you walk in with sunglasses or glasses on your head, the one Quaker parrot hates it. She'll grab them and throw them off your head and throw a fit. They don't like things changed in their bird cages. If you have certain toys in there and try to add a new one, they're mad. They want it out of there. You have to keep the same toys with this one. The cockatiel, however, is a little bit more adaptable and gets used to things, but they still don't like new things. Yeah, and they get their own whole bedroom, Sketty. Right now, they both each have a bedroom. The idea is to take one bedroom, split it in half, so we have one room to clean, because these birds poop all the time. And we're constantly wiping and cleaning and disinfecting with natural stuff, because birds are sensitive with their respiratory systems and such. So you have to be very careful with what you do. But yeah, they have their own little bedroom that they get with bigger cages, and they go to their vets every year. Cats don't like change either. Yeah, I always loved, even dogs. You move to a new house and you first bring your pets in and you let them go, and they got their heads down and they're smelling everything like, this is new. Dixon has some guppies coming in the mail today, and I'm all afraid to open the bags. They might have dead fish in them. Yeah, I get that, Dixon, too. But hey, you just let them know if they are, to get your money back. But I know what you mean. It's like that whole No, just work on a new tank setup while listening and just read your chat. Cool. Cockatiels have more dander than, yeah, and that is true. 100%. My cockatiels sit right here on my shoulder and clean up and shake, and it just flies through the air. Luckily, I have no allergies to anything. I can walk through poison ivy in shorts. I knew a gal that had a naked birds because, yeah. So when we make them food, we can't use Teflon. It has to be fresh vegetables and things like that. You can make them eggs, but you don't want to do it on Teflon. You don't want to add any non-stick materials. And birds will also pluck themselves bald due to stress and stuff. So you have to be very careful with how you treat them. Like if we want to repaint this house, we have to use a VOC-free or like 100% organic paint, if you will. It can't have fumes or nothing like that, because the birds will actually get on the wall sometime and chew at your walls and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that you have to be careful of with them. I didn't send you the address, Ross, but I did. Thanks for coming in, by the way. But I did message you on Instagram, and the last I checked, you haven't read it yet. And I can't send it again until you read the message and message me back. Once you message me back over there, I can send you my address. Sketty don't get poison ivy either. I have one allergy salient. Moronic people, aka Karens. Oh yes, the older I get, Eduardo, I find I'm getting less and less tolerant of people. You can walk through poison ivy as well. Yep. Some people, they can't even be around it when the wind blows. Exactly, Sketty. Melly Mel. Oh, you did it yesterday? Okay, I'll check it, buddy. Certainly appreciate you. Ross is going to send me some water lettuce. What do you want for it? Are you just sending it to me to get rid of it? You want some money for it? So what? I got to ask. Do you want money for it? We used a flat black barn paint by Gildan to paint the stand. They had no smell. Dixon, my favorite spray, because I spray paint the back of my my aquarium glass, and I do paint stands with spray paint. My favorite is the Krylon Fusion. It's very good for glass, and but it does have a pretty good odor. But when I'm doing that, that's done on the tanks outside before they even come in. And then they have to sit there for a few days to, I call it, gas off and get all the fumes and vapors away. I'll give you the devil's lettuce. We don't need the devil's lettuce. Nothing, just for you to say you got something from it. Nothing, just for you to say you got something from it. Okay, Ross, I appreciate you. And I'm definitely going to make a video on that too. I already planned on it. To give you a shout out, let people know the kind of dude you are. Might send something cool as well. Well, the water lettuce is cool. I'm going to try to put the blackout film on the 55 today. Dixon, I'll tell you why I hate that stuff. I'm a very impatient person. And this is just for me, because I am a very impatient person. Everything I like to do, I like to get it done now and as fast as possible. When you think about that black film, it's faster than painting, right? Because you're just going to put it on. You don't have to paint it. You don't have to wait for it to dry and do the coats and let all the fumes go away. So it is faster in that aspect. But when I'm putting that crap on, I cannot stop the wrinkles. And that makes me mad. And when I get mad, it's done. I'm done. What I have done is bought black poster board and taped it on the back of my tanks for the easiest, quickest way. I have a 10-gallon beta tank down here. I actually had that white, you know, when you get like a yard sale sign, it has that like white board that's got space in between. I stuck that behind it just to brighten it up a little bit because it was too dark. But if you want something very cheap, very quick and easy to do, just get black poster board and use Scotch tape and tape them on the back. Over the years, it does tend to curl if you don't tape it real well, and the tape can eventually remove. But it's so easy to fix unless you have the tank against the wall and it's hard to get to. I find just using the Krylon spray paint is the easiest way. It stays on forever. I always do black. I see some people using blue. I wouldn't mind having one of them 3D backgrounds someday, and they're beautiful. But the thing I hate about the 3D background is they take up a lot of valuable real estate in these tanks. I don't care how big they are. And they're super expensive. Okay, Dixon. Water's lettuce. Devil's lettuce. Okay. Check out Shady Grady's unboxing he did yesterday. He bought lots of fish from me. Okay, Ross, we'll check it out. If Carr's still in here, well, Ross, you're a moderator. Share the link to that video in the chat. Then we can just click it. You sound a lot like the younger me. Yeah. The only thing I have patience for in this world are my fish, cats, and kid. Yeah. Oh. Didn't even notice. Thanks for saying it. So we're going to bring price tag up. He's got some stuff to say, I think.
What's going on?
What up, buddy?
How you been?
Doing good. You can hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I was watching your live last night.
Yeah, it went okay. I think I need to pick a different night because it seems like a lot of people stream on Friday nights.
Yeah, so what I do, man, is when I first started doing live streams, it was called Salient Sunday Stream. And I would do it on Sundays. Well, I got out of that and I stopped doing live streams for like 6 months. And so I got back into it and I decided I want to do this on Saturdays. Well, at this point, I was not a member, but I was in the Fish Fam link now. I was on their calendar.
Yeah.
So what I do is I get on my YouTube studio and I go to analytics and hit audience and I see when my viewers are on the most.
Okay.
Then when I see what day that is and what time that is, I go over to the Fish Fam calendar and I see what space is available where no one else is on.
Oh, okay.
So I
So
was
that's the whole point of that Fish Fam link, I think, is what I've just joined recently, is to go on there and see who's on, who's not, so you can kind of schedule your time accordingly then.
exactly, because
Okay.
it's a hard thing to do to not overlap. Like right now, I'm overlapping with Funk. But
Okay.
it's impossible to not overlap with somebody almost, but you can. Like when I started the Tank and Tuesday one, I had about an hour block from 6 to 7 before Foxy Fishes go live. But then I find out she really don't do it that much. So that's how
Okay.
I get away with doing a couple hours over there. So just go between the two to optimize. Because if someone else is obviously live when you are, it's going to
Yeah.
take from one or the other. So if you can
Yep.
get time spot where it's just you, it's going to help you a lot.
That makes sense. I didn't think about that because I was thinking my first two live streams I had about 15, give or take, and last night I only had about 8 to I think 10 at the most. And I was just like, man, I thought Friday night would be a good night, but I didn't think about trying to pick and go between the two. So that's good to know.
Yeah, it definitely helps maximize but you're still going to have people that are going to do pop-ups, but in the end of the day, you can't. It's impossible to not run into somebody. Don't worry about it. Do your thing.
Yeah.
They still go back and forth.
Especially like the more I get into this YouTube, and then if I get more subscribers and watch time, and then it just becomes almost impossible because you're going to overlap someone eventually. So
It's going to happen, man, for sure. So,
maybe it's just easier just to do the join someone else's chat and vice versa, just so you get that more watch time. But
yeah.
we'll figure it out.
Well, the person that has the live streams getting the watch hours that you join.
Yeah.
But so like when I wanted to do my Saturday morning one, and I had to do because it also goes hand in hand with your lifestyle too, right? So I had to do this one on Saturday mornings because a lot of times I'm doing this before my wife or my daughter get up, and then when I'm done, we have still the rest of the Saturday and Sunday to do things.
That's good.
So on my Tuesday one, I wanted to do it at a different time so I could catch different people. So that's why that one's at 6. But during the week, it has to be after 5 o'clock because I don't get off work till sometimes 5:30.
Sometimes later than that because that last one live stream work ended up going later for you.
Yeah, I've missed that live stream a couple times.
You still gonna try to keep on with that on Tuesdays then, or are you gonna?
Yeah, and actually on May 14th, I'm bringing up a guest on there. You've probably seen her out, Talisa Aquarists.
Yeah, I've seen her on your live streams. Not in person, but yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be coming up as a guest. Ross, how the hell do you have 13,000 watch hours?
That's insane. How long has he been around?
I think he's actually fairly new to the YouTube game. He's been on my live stream once, but he does a lot of great things over there. I don't know if you've been on his lives or watched his videos. He's a great fish breeder. He's got fish you would just will not see in stores. Beautiful colors. He's got a lot of good things going over there. Great person too. If you're not sub up, you won't regret it.
Yeah, I'm definitely have to check him out because he seems to be worth it from what you're saying. So what's up, Ross?
Yeah, but see, Ross, shorts don't get you watch time hours. They get you views and subs. Your long form content and your live streams what brings you watch time hours.
So that's probably how you get a lot of watch hours, just going live and making big videos then.
Long form content. But if you can get people, if you got to do it's a science, man. To get
it really is.
To keep people hooked to watch from beginning to end is hard to do, especially in our niche because we don't have half naked chicks. We're not doing controversial or dangerous things.
Right. Something that creates a turmoil, something that catches someone's attention. It's really hard to do that. And I don't know, like how you feel about it. Like I'm not in total agreement with going to the extreme to try to get views. Like I want to be more down to earth and say, hey, I want to post real stuff, not just something to get someone's attention spot on. And I know that's the purpose, but it just seems more like I'm desperate for attention as opposed to I want to spend time with you guys. That's kind of my whole theory behind that.
Yeah. Yep. So in community posts too, you have to do everything to make your channel work really good. And additionally, I run all this stuff through an SEO checklist. I have TubeBuddy linked to my account. So I don't just record videos and throw it out. They go through a checklist for the high ranking keywords, hashtags, title, and then I schedule it to come out on the times people are on the most,
It's really that the analytics behind YouTube is far more advanced than I had ever imagined. Like if you really want to get into everything, it takes some time and effort. I mean, just like our first thing you mentioned about how to go live and how to figure it out. I mean, it's all a learning process. It really is.
Oh, it is. It's like a whole other, like, I didn't think I had to have a biology degree or a computer degree when I started this thing.
No, I didn't either. Then you look into it, you're like, holy crap, I need an analytical degree to get into this thing.
Yeah, Ross, yeah, it is. Shorts will bring people to you. Absolutely. I find that shorts bring you a lot of subs. Your long form content is where you're going to get the meat of your channel, and where you're going to get a lot of watch time hours, and your live streams bring in a lot of watch time hours. So your shorts are absolutely bringing people to your page. But if you look at your analytics, it's not giving you a lot of watch time hours because of the fact they're only 15 or 60 seconds long. Right? They're under a minute at most, so you're not going to get a lot of watch time from that, just for what they are.
It's good for subs, I think. I think that's where the shorts are coming in from my experience.
That's where the bulk of my subs are coming from, is the shorts feeds.
Yeah, and that's the goal I'm getting to, because I'm getting really close to the first mark of the 3,000 watch hours, and I got like 400 subs. And since I've been doing shorts more often, the subs have gone up a little bit.
And you were discussing vertical live streams on your live, and like I told you on there,
yeah,
I've done it twice now because I wanted to try it out. And
I didn't realize you were using your iPad. I just thought you were using your phone. So that's why I was like, man, how can you see yourself and the chat at the same time? But that makes sense.
Yeah,
so I'll have to figure it away.
Because the YouTube live stream platform is great. You get a free 1080 on live streaming. You don't get 1080 unless you pay for it.
Yep.
And, well, so what I do is I have my live stream, and then because the chat goes up, disappears too fast.
Oh yeah.
So I have my phone going here. That's why you'll see me looking down. So, and what's nice about and a lot of these guys don't like it. I asked on my last live stream, how would you like to see my live streams more, as normal on StreamYard or vertical? Most everybody said StreamYard. So what I'm going to do is alternate, because I don't want to get away from that vertical live streaming, because like TikTok, when you're done doing a vertical live stream, it gives you a summary at the end.
Okay.
How many views, how many total watch time hours, how many people watched, and it blows normal out of the water, like double, triple the amount of hours and everything. So I think I'll alternate, do a vertical and go back to, because I do find StreamYard easier for bringing guests up like yourself. You get more features.
Yeah, I feel like that's what makes it convenient, is being able to bring guests up and stuff. But I don't have a TikTok, and I feel like that's something that you almost have to have if you want to get more, subs and whatnot. So I didn't know about all that because I don't have a TikTok. But do you recommend doing that? Has that bumped up your channel?
Yes, I absolutely do. I do TikTok, a little bit of Instagram, because the more work you put in, the best results you're going to get in. Because,
okay.
You know what I mean? Because I've gotten followers from TikTok and vice versa, and Facebook. So
that's kind of how it is. I've got them from Facebook and Instagram, but I mean, my preferred preference is Facebook, but we'll see.
Chris, I'm not sure who Chris is, but it's funny because posting about Clash of Clans helped build your YouTube channel. It's funny because I've been playing Clash of Clans since that game came out, and I still play it.
Never have.
I don't know if he knows me or what. Well, I have to disconnect my mic, Dixon, when somebody comes up, or I won't be able to hear them. So it sounds a little different, but do I still sound okay, Price Tag?
Yeah, I can hear you clear.
Russ says, when I said and you said it back, that definitely made me think I might be getting a number.
Oh yeah, he corrected himself in his hours.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, you'll definitely get a lot of views, but that's a whole different game than watch time hours.
Yeah. So you planning on moving then, Jesse?
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be becoming a possibility for sure. And
okay, within this year, then you're thinking?
Yeah. So what it is, man, is recently my mother-in-law passed away, which is my wife's mom.
All right, I'm sorry to hear that.
And I appreciate that. And why is that blood parrot upside down? Oh, that was funny. My blood parrot was upside down, and my big pleco gave him a bump and got him out of there. And so for the last 4 or 5 years or so, my wife's dad her wife had to take care of her because she had a lot of issues. So he let a lot of neglect on his end of things as far as health, hasn't been able to go anywhere and do anything. Well, now that she has passed, he went down the West Palm Beach now with his other daughter, and they're getting them fixed up with the doctor appointments and getting them all sorted out. And he said, I will spend the rest of my life with my family, to the point that he wants us to all move down there to be together. And so that's what spawned it.
Okay. And you're going to, like, if I understand this correctly, you're going to maybe like move into this house then, you think?
Yeah. Well, we'll have our own house, and we'll be moving into it once they find one. But it's like a 10-hour drive, possibly 11, depending on how things go.
Okay.
Like, I've never had to move fish over that long of a distance, so
I bet this is going to be stressful in a sense. I mean, I kind of personally like the idea of what you were talking earlier about putting your substrate in like totes and then just cushioning the crap out of your big totes, you know, so that way have that bacteria for the long drive, and like an aerator of some sort, battery operated maybe. I kind of like that route.
Well, I did battery operating once before, and those batteries die.
They die quick.
I don't want to have to work. Not that quick. They last a while, but I don't. What if you hit a bump and it gets loose, one of the batteries or something? You know, I don't want to worry about one of those. So I'm going to run all of them off of like an inverter.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably smart then. I mean, just the tanks alone itself is nerve-wracking. So I've never moved fish personally myself, but I can see it being a challenge. So
yeah, it's going to be stressful. It's going to be, you know, moving's hard enough. Now you add in something like this, because I mean, the easiest thing to do is give them away, sell them, give them to the local fish stores or whatever. I don't want to start over.
No, you know, that's my problem with these guys here is these Mbuna. This is like my very first tank, you know, not to get too off topic, but like, I really hate to start over because most of them were full grown, but like anything I've done with this tank to make them a little bit more outgoing, it's just like, man, I really don't want to start this tank over. And I'm almost at that point to where I really don't want to, because I get it, because you start to like enjoy the accomplishments you've done with your tanks and stuff from start to finish between setup and fish size. So
yep. And
I get it.
I think in the end, you know, even if I lose a few of them, it's better than start. I mean, when I bought this Tiger Oscar, it was like $13 or $16. I don't want to know what an Oscar costs now. And, you know, as big as he is, it's like, I don't know. We're going to try my best to get him down there and just put him back in.
That's good. Yeah, that's like a long commitment for Oscars. So you want to bring them with you, just like your dog or your cat or something, you know.
Yeah, Ross says, don't do it. Florida is flooded. Hurricane. I got you, Ross, and we definitely take that into consideration. But I also look at things like this. My sister's been down there for what, 13 years. My sister-in-law has been down there for 13 years. The houses are still standing. I don't know. Do I think about it? Yeah, it's definitely a worry. I mean, I tell you, my biggest fear is water. But I have no problem going to the ocean and spending hours in water. I love it. I'm not afraid of it to the point where I don't get in it. I love water in the ocean. But I respect it. When I was a kid, I almost drowned. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. So I think after that, I gained that fear of water. But I'm not afraid of it, you know, and I know how to swim.
Yep.
So when I think about, I've had dreams where rivers flooding, and I'm stuck in them because of that. And you know, you think about the ocean and a huge tsunami coming. That's my biggest fear. But so you know, I've told my wife, "You really want to go down there?" But it's like them hurricanes that come in, hit the East Coast and ride up the East Coast.
Yeah, so it doesn't hit you head on or nothing.
Right. And since I moved here to North Carolina, when we moved down here in 2016, we had Hurricane Matthew, Florence, and one other one that came in and destroyed the roof on my house and flooded the areas. So it's like,
it doesn't matter where you go. There's going to be Mother Nature no matter where you go in different forms. So
yeah,
I guess to each their own. You know, go where your best lifestyle situates and go from there.
Florida, we got some competition. Chris says Florida is the greatest state in the country, and Ross says nope, Maryland and Arizona. Lee says that.
I've always wanted to go to Arizona. You know, I was talking to Mexicali, and he said he lives in Arizona. He said it's a beautiful state.
Yeah, yeah. That's where the Grand Canyon is, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I've always wanted to see the Grand Canyon. Talisa, I appreciate you coming in. It's good to see you. I do have some huge tanks to move, and I do appreciate the condolences. It's been like a month now since that happened, but it sparked a lot of changes and good changes too. You know, I've been hearing about that, Chris. I've been hearing about what's the guy's name that runs Florida?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I can't remember his name, but
my dad might know. My dad's in Jupiter, which isn't too far from. Or is West Palm Beach on the left side of Florida?
Yes.
Okay. So Jupiter's like on the opposite end, so it's still like a few hours away.
Yeah.
So that's only my dad would probably know who you're talking about, but.
Yeah, and I know from watching Father Fish some of the things that they've changed down. So I don't play with the ocean. My ancestors won't allow it. Well, stats. Great golfing in Arizona. Chris, I've never seen your name in here before. I certainly appreciate you coming in, hanging out, and talking. At first, I thought you might have been a troll, but now as the time goes on, I see you're actually talking. So I appreciate you coming in. Ron DeSantis, that's what it is. I hear nobody likes the guy.
There's like mixed feelings about him, then I take it.
Well, I think there's mixed feeling about any leader, and you can't make everybody happy.
I agree.
I hear this. I don't know much about him, so I can't talk, but I hear him doing it. As far as the fish keeping and the fish and the waterways, I hear he's doing some crazy things.
Yeah.
Is it DeSantos or is it DeSantis? Grand Canyon is awesome, like you're on another planet. I want to go see that big hole. All right, Craig, appreciate you coming in. I'm at the bottom of the chat.
So, Jesse, what is your biggest concern then? You know, out of everything on your live stream subject, what is probably your biggest concern that you're worried about moving?
Just so the fish get there alive, arrive alive. I don't want them to die. I want them to get there. I want to get the tanks off. I want to fill them back up. I'm going to have to assimilate them to the new water because it's all different water. It's harder from what I understand. The Mbunas will be fine because they're raised in that way. I can't the rest of them. So my biggest concern would be make sure they all live and get there safe so we can just put them back in there, you know?
Makes sense. Yeah, whenever I have to do any type of moving with fish tanks or stuff like that, like I said, I haven't moved fish, but I mean, like, anytime I put something in the back of my truck or anything, it never hurts to have extra blankets, pillows, pads, anything you can think of just to make it more peace of mind.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, and I think you have more fish than I do. So, like, if I had to move all your tanks of fish, I'd be like,
it'd be nerve-wracking. I mean, technically, I have probably a lot more fish than your average fish keeper, but they're just small. You know, you have bigger size fish than I do. So
you and Ross are on the same lines. He's got a lot of fish too, and he breeds, so he's got a ton.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like I've lost count how many fish I have. I mean, I have that app, but then I've had so much more that I've just lost count. And there's more in the egg tumblers as we speak. So
yeah,
it's been fun.
Right. Chris, it's something I've wanted to do. I always wanted to have a big koi pond, but for me, my biggest goal is to get my monster fish tank that I want, and I'll actually have a garage fish room down there. But no, I'd love to do that, but it's not my plan at the moment. Ross, I've done that before. It makes it a lot easier, especially with betas. Just put the tank in and let them in there. But, with these fish,
I was kind of wondering about that. Not to interrupt or anything. I was kind of wondering, like, whenever you put them in a fish tank and you maybe fill it with, like, keep the 1/3 water in there, wouldn't there be like a lot of sloshing around as you're driving? You know, I mean,
it does, and that's why my beta fish when we moved down here from Pennsylvania, that's how I did it. And it lived when we got there, and it was fine. But I got 3 125s, 2 75s, 155, 29. I got 2 two 20-gallon drums, 1, 2, 3 10-gallons running. I just can't. I might be able to get away with the small tanks and just leaving them in there, but these big ones,
Yeah,
they're going to
big
have
ones. There's so much water sloshing around. Like you're probably gonna have to drive like a grandma driving down the road.
Yeah, take forever to get there. Yeah, definitely iguanas and pythons and gators in the pond. I do not have any starfish. I do freshwater. I don't have saltwater. I don't think there's such thing as a saltwater starfish, but or freshwater saltfish, but I don't know.
Starfish are saltwater, I think.
Yeah, that's the ocean type stuff.
Yep.
So I'm all freshwater tanks.
Yeah, I've had that question asked me several times if I was ever going to do saltwater, and I don't know. It's just I love saltwater fish. I have nothing against anyone who has it, but it's just I have my own thing going on right now, and it's just something I don't have time to get into.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it's just a personal preference.
Yeah. And exactly, Ross. That's why I like using totes with lockable lids. You just put them in there with the water. Put some stress guard in there and throw an air stone in and hope for the best. That's really all I can do.
Yeah.
But I'm going to leave all my sand and decor in. I might take some rocks out to make them a little bit lighter, but I'm just going to literally drain as much water as I can, keeping the substrate wet. And pick them tanks up, slide them right in.
Yeah, that's the important part, really, is between the move is just keeping the substrate, wet.
Hydra. Oh, a hydra is a freshwater starfish. Hey, you mind taking over a little bit? I got to pee again. I've been drinking a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, go do your thing.
Oh, he's joking. There's Foxy. When I moved from PA to Wisconsin, I broke down all my tanks and bought the fish and plants and 5-gallon box for aeration. Lost a few celestials, but everything else survived on a 3-day ride. 3-day ride. Wow, that's a lot longer than 2 hours. Be right back.
That's not bad. That's not bad for only losing a few fish, Foxy. How many fish did you have total? Because that's pretty crazy. I mean, moving fish alone is stressful, but to have them all in 5-gallon buckets, did you have like lids on them, and did they have like holes on the top, or were they just flat? I would assume y'all had lids on them, so the water wasn't sloshing out of the buckets. But I'm kind of wondering what type of fish you had and how many. Like, how many tanks did you have? How much fish? What kind? And how that all worked out for you? I know Salient's kind of in control of the live stream chat and have it appear on the bottom. So, and I don't have YouTube up. I just have this StreamYard up for me. So I'm kind of curious to see what your answer is, Foxy. Yeah, moving fish would be crazy. And like I was telling Salient, it's just the more precautious you can be, the better off it'll be. I mean, even if you have to drive slow and even you have to put some straps with some pillows and blankets and padding on the bottom, or like, I don't even know if like a moving truck, like we were just talking about like a U-Haul earlier. And I know some of those U-Hauls can be kind of clunky to drive. I mean, just stabilization, you almost have to buy like a really nice U-Haul if you have like big fish tanks. Because I've ridden in several U-Hauls and they're just really clunky and move around a lot. I mean, so I don't know if the suspension would, you might want to get a good vehicle with a good amount of suspension so that way it's not as rough for a drive. But yeah, I guess it's a challenge in itself. I wish I could go on. Hey, there you're back. Okay. I was going to say, I can't scroll through your chat when you're gone, so.
I'll be right back. I'm making a coffee again, so I'll be jumping off in a second, but I'll be with you in a few minutes. It looks like that's all that's there at the moment.
I was asking Foxy, like, what kind of tanks, or more so, what kind of fish she had, and the size tanks, and how she made that all work out with those buckets. If she put lids on them or whatever, so.
Oh, here we go. Be right
7
back.
tanks, lids with a hole drilled in the middle for airline, smaller fish, bristle nose. Okay. That's not bad then.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm going to probably have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm gonna have at least 12 to 14 totes
Yeah.
with fish because I can't put my Oscars with anybody else.
No, no, that's out of the question. That's just them only in their own tote. Thanks for the answer, Foxy. I appreciate it. I was kind of curious, so that's cool.
Sorry about that. Just woke up. Yeah, it'd be rough. It's rough. So and that's the thing about fish keeping. That's something you got to keep in mind. And since I've been setting tanks up, I've had to move 2 or 3 times with them. It was always a pain, but now I have more than I ever did. You know?
Yeah, that's how I am too. If I ever had to move, which I'm not, I have no desire to move at all, anytime soon, but if I did, I would probably have to get rid of most of my fish, and I would just have to give them to local fish stores. But I would hate to, just because I put so much work and effort into it.
Yeah, and like Craig's here, he's done to do it several times, so he gets it too. But Craig's, if you ever had to move your fish over 10 or 11 hours, like Foxy had a 3-day, or it's like that's the difference. Like, are they going to be okay? A lot longer the drive, swash it around, and
Yeah.
Got me about to make some coffee too. That's all right, Ross. Hey, look, in my Ben Ochart cup.
I was thinking too, like, are you planning to use your personal vehicles? Are you going to get like a big U-Haul truck? Because some of those U-Hauls, I was saying earlier to everybody that some of those U-Haul trucks, their suspension and everything is just really clunky. Like, I've been in some U-Hauls, and that could make a difference too.
Yep, and that's just going to go right in hand with what Lisa's saying here. It's going to be one move because it's too far to come back and forth. We're going to have one big U-Haul for the house, and of course we're going to get rid of and sell stuff because there's a possibility we'll be moving into the house with all brand new furniture.
Oh,
just with the deal, so we could sell and get rid of stuff we don't need. Right?
Yeah. Usually on a big move, that's smart to do. Just that it's less for you to haul, less crap you got to get rid of and bring with you.
Yep, and like I won't need my ride mower anymore, so we can sell that.
Yep.
So the idea is one big U-Haul for the house. And then I'm going to get because we'll be driving our personal van. The van will be packed full of stuff. And then I thought about renting one of those bigger U-Haul box trailers for all my aquarium stuff.
Okay.
Lower to the ground, no ramp needed, easier to get them out.
Yep.
And of course,
easier.
Yeah, and the tanks will be the last thing to put in and the first thing to take out.
Yep. It'll be so much easier doing it that way, just because you don't have to walk around any furniture or anything that's in the way. When you're moving the tanks, it's all empty house, and you can just, like you said, end with tanks, start with tanks. It's easy.
Yep. And Craig, like you said earlier, Craig used the mattresses.
Yeah.
Rest of your teen's bed. I don't have a teen yet. She's 11. Stop rushing it.
Slow time down.
But it's going to be fun, man. I mean, I love palm trees. I love being around that stuff too. I'm excited about it. I'm ready for change too.
So when do you say this is going to happen? Like in a few months from now, or?
I don't think that quick. Her dad wants it to go pretty quick because he just wants to get this done, but he still has his house that they have to go through and sell after he gets sorted out. The guy's 72. He worked for UPS his entire life. He's retired. He's got a torn rotator cuff. He's got, it's just to give you an idea, he had 7 cavities and he didn't even know he had them.
Okay.
So we're just getting them sorted out now that they can. So he's got to do that, get his house sorted, and then we'd be going down. We'll be moving right into a house. It's just like a lot. So I'm excited, but it's going to be a work.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you, in the future, and then, in between now and the move, and figuring everything out.
Well, I appreciate it. The only thing I'm scared, I'll be close to Garcia.
Cool.
Garcia, right? Garcia Aquatics.
I don't know if I know him or not.
You ever been on Garcia's lives or seen his videos?
No, I haven't. I might have to check him out too.
Yeah, go type in Garcia. Craig's, you're a mod. Can you sell Garcia's put Garcia's link in the chat? Good dude. We actually text and call on the phone quite frequently. He's a good dude.
Okay.
But
So he'll be close to you by West Palm Beach then?
he lives right down in that area. He knows right where I'm at. Probably like 25 minutes away from him.
That's good. That's awesome.
Even though he rarely comes into my live streams and I always come into his.
So there's that. No.
He goes live a lot with Happy Place Aquatics. Happy Place is somebody, Jim is his name. I was the first one to reach out to him and get him to meet everybody. And since then, he's taken off, and a lot of people like him. He's got a ton of fish. He's another good dude, and they always go live together a lot.
That's good.
It's you meet. It's neat how you meet friends in this hobby, in this community, and you never know. It's going to turn into being able to actually go see him. You know.
That's why it was. I really had like the option of a lifetime to meet Ben Ochar, because I kept thinking in my head, it's like, man, I'm never going to meet someone like that, or someone from KG Tropicals or Aquarium Co-op. And then here he just came to Ohio. I'm like, well, that made it easy.
Yeah. Yep. And that's where I want to get on my channel, about his size. If I can get about 50,000 and I'm getting monetized and people are sending me stuff, that I'm fine with that. I'm not looking at that thousands and million mark. If it happens, great. But I've always said I'd like to get about Ben Ochar big.
Yeah, that's kind of the end goal for me as well. I think it's in the fish keeping hobby, long story short. I was telling my wife about this last night after getting off live stream, that some of these people that like KG Tropicals and Aquarium Co-op, they got to remember, these guys started YouTube when YouTube first started. So there was no like TikTok, there was no Instagram. It might have been a little bit of Facebook. So that's why they have such a huge community, because they started it as YouTube started. So that's how they were able to grow within several years. And they were doing things that were brand new to the hobby. And, 2020 didn't happen, obviously. And the economy was still doing well. So they could afford to, fish rooms were still popular. And, you could make money off having your build your own fish store and everything. But most of the local fish stores I talked to, depending on their situation, of course, but a lot of them talked to, they said it's just enough money to keep the lights on.
Yes.
They're not making a living off it. It's more of like a glorified hobby. Whereas back in the day, you could make a living off of it.
Yep. Yeah. There's very less competition than there was now. And you're better off doing online stores because you're not paying on a loan for a building, property tax, run it and keep the lights on.
Yep. It's a whole different world now than what it used to be.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you can work from home and make a good living now. People make great livings at this.
Yep.
Will I ever see that? No, but like I said, I just love to get about that Ben Ochar size to where the hobby's paying for itself and things like that.
Yeah. That's kind of what my end game is too. And, playing the patient game of letting these fish grow up, and then hopefully I can do this YouTube thing while keep growing the fry, making them bigger, and then selling them. And that's how I can make a little bit of money to kind of make up for everything else. So that's kind of my end goal.
Sounds like you and I are on the same page, brother.
Yeah.
So what are you getting into today?
Well, I got to do some water changes. It's been about a month or so since I've done some of these. And then I need to set up a different quarantine tank, because right now my quarantine is a 55 and I want to make it into like a 20 or the 29 gallons, just so it's less medication. So I've got to do some fish rearranging a little bit to make that happen. So between that, and it's supposed to be like mid 70s today and sunny. So I'm going to spend time with the wife and daughter today and mostly tomorrow before I go back to work on Monday. So
and
how about you?
Oh, after this, I'm going to same thing. I'll be going out to hang out with the wife. I'm going to get my pool set. I got to get my pool cleaned out and get it set up and running for the summertime.
Okay.
So I got everything done I needed to do so I could spend the day on getting that pool cleaned up and filled up and running again.
Okay. Do you have an in-ground or a above ground?
It's above ground, man, but it's one of them big 22 or 24 footers. And
it's a good size.
And those pools come with bull crap filters, right?
Yeah.
I got an actual big sand filter from a buddy for free. We got the pool.
Oh, that's freaking awesome, because those filters are like $1,000, maybe more down south.
Yeah, and I got that for free. I got the pool for free, and now I had to do some adapting to make that larger size filter work on our pool, but we ran it all last summer and it worked great. And so it's nice, even in North Carolina, a lot of times it's hotter here than it is in Florida.
Yeah, it sometimes is. My aunt lives in South Carolina, so in between that and where you're living at, you have hotter weather sometimes, like you said. So
yeah, so that's my plan. I've already did my monthly water changes and tank maintenance. All my tanks are looking good. I just spend most of my time enjoying my tanks rather than working in them.
Yep, I agree.
And as time goes on, I'm really enjoying the dirted sand cap tanks, plant controlled tanks. I got this 20-gallon setup. The plant, you just can't beat the dirt. Does so good for these plants, better than.
Oh yeah, between dirt and gravel. Is it like a dirt gravel mix, or is it just plain dirt? I can't remember.
It's just organic topsoil, and then you cap it with whatever sand you want, and then
okay.
And once them plants root down and start getting into that dirt, you cannot beat it. I don't care what liquid fertilizer, root tap, CO2, it beats it.
That's great.
They're bursting out of this tank. I got to cut them back because it's blocking all the light out.
It's crazy how fast that they grow.
I'm going to do an update video on them, and then you can check that out. But they're beautiful. Like they're absolutely stunning.
That's awesome.
The nitrates never go below 5 ppm. I never have to do water changes. I just top them off a little bit.
That's great. That's perfect. That's like the easiest tank in the world.
I would do that with all of them, but you're just not going to be able to do it with the likes of a Dempsey or an Oscar or Bunas. It won't work.
Yeah.
But I love it. They look great. I have no algae issues. No algae issues in the dirted tanks.
That's awesome.
BBA and all these other ones. Cyanobacteria shows up in some of them. Nothing. They're wonderful.
Yeah, maybe you might have to make another one of those whenever you move, and a bigger tank maybe.
Well, if this male beta down here dies off in this other 20-gallon, that's going to become a dirted tank as well.
Okay.
And I'm not like even this 55-gallon Tiger Barb tank. They don't really interact with the sand that much or dig it up. So I'd love to turn.
Okay, so you could do the same with that too, then.
Yeah.
Do the Tiger Barbs play with or do they mess with the plants or no?
Not really.
That's good.
Not really, not at all. They like to swim in them, but they're just one of my favorite fish, Tiger Barbs.
Yeah, it's neat because I didn't know that they had so many different colors of Tiger Barbs. I'm just thinking of like the orange and black, but like when I saw your videos and then going to stores, I'm like, wow, there's actually different types of Tiger Barbs.
Oh God, they got the green, the red. They got long fin Tiger Barbs now. I saw.
Yeah, that's cool.
Maybe I can move you over here. I'm holding the laptop, but that's the Tiger Barbs, and then over here is the new 20-gallon dirted tank. This camera don't do it justice.
Yeah, it's like 720 live stream. So, but plus camera doesn't do justice. With anything. Like if you go to the Grand Canyon, it's gonna be the same thing. Pictures, but it looks nice. It looks lush. It's green. It's everything's growing like crazy.
But the one down here, the 10-gallon, see how dark it is? It's because the plants have grown up so much. They're coming out of the top, literally.
Yeah, they're probably going like an inch per day.
Well, look at this Amazon sword. It's the best one I've ever seen. It's huge.
Yeah, that plant is huge. I mean, you probably got that plant when it was a lot smaller than that.
Yeah. There's a crypt in there that's just everything's banging. I'm so ecstatic with the results of these dirted tanks.
That's crazy.
The only thing in that 10-gallon is some cherry shrimp. But if I wanted to, like the 20-gallon, you can put your Danios in, your Ember Tetras, your Neon Tetras.
Yeah, I've heard that they're pretty relaxed when it comes to plants and dirt and stuff. They don't mess with a whole lot of that stuff.
Yeah, they're chill. So I'm really enjoying it, and I'm all about less maintenance. But I just put a video out that actually just came out right now, 11 a.m. And it's all about, can't all tanks be low maintenance? And I explained in that video how they can be. So
And that
everyone,
was on your last live stream too, wasn't it? We talked about that.
yep. And the reason why that was my topic is to get people's inputs and thoughts for the video. And so I put it out. It just dropped out now, and it's all about that. You know, any aquarium can be low maintenance. There's just, if you know how they work, and you really understand how aquariums work, and you know all the little tips and tricks.
Yeah.
I'm not cleaning canister filters, but every 7 months. That is
Yeah,
I don't know what it
that's
is.
about what I do too, because of the whole put a sponge filter on the intake. You know, that's the easiest way to do it.
I mentioned that in the video, and at first, before I was doing that, I would get sand in there. It was causing problems. Put the pre-filter on, no more problems.
Yep, same here.
When you put your pre-filter on, did you drill the 1/8" holes on the intake tube?
Yes, I did on my FX filters. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know how many to do. I wasn't really sure. I actually jabbed myself doing it too, so that kind of sucked. But but I wasn't sure how many holes to drill, so I think I drilled maybe like 6 to 8 or something like that. I wasn't really sure how many, but it still worked.
Yeah, I just did enough all around, so it went all around the filter. I use those top fin ones from PetSmart that are square.
Yeah.
I'd like to try out Corey's at Aquarium Co-op because I hear they're really good. But the problem is he don't have one as tall as these, and I already got my holes drilled.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So if I get another canister filter, well, I mean, not all mine are drilled that I have to do that on. So if I needed to do that, I would probably drill less in height so I can try one of his sponges out.
Yeah, that would probably work, I would think.
Mayhem, appreciate you coming in. It's always good to see you. Price tag, if you're not familiar with Mayhem and Miracles, I've talked about her in the past in my lives.
I'm not, no.
She's fantastic. If you're ever on TikTok, you know how they have grow groups?
I'm not on TikTok, no.
On TikTok, you can get on grow groups, and they help you grow your channel. Okay. That's kind of like what she does for the YouTube side. She literally spends her days helping you get your watch time hours and helping other people, and that's what she does. She has, no lie, sat down and watched hours upon hours of my videos because I said I needed watch time hours. So if you ever see her live and you'd like to join her group, she's going to help you and hook you up with new people. And I know all the people she supports are commenting on my videos, and we help each other. So it's just another way to give your channel a boost. And the time that she puts in doing this is just unbelievable. She's a fantastic woman.
That's great. That's good for her. That's really nice to have people like that around to help with the fish community and the YouTube channel out.
Yeah. Ross loves your wall tanks.
Oh, thanks, Ross. Yes. Ross, if you had time, there's a short video that I made of how I set everything up. And it wasn't just me. I actually have to thank my brother mostly for it, for doing all the framework for me. But I did all the planning on how everything wanted to look. So
I'm doing pretty good over there, Ross. I used to like TikTok more than YouTube before my channel blew up because I could put a video out on YouTube and put the same one on TikTok, and TikTok was getting double, triple the views and much more interaction over there. On TikTok, they're a lot more interactive, and you can link your YouTube channel in the bio over there, and that's how we were talking before. But now, so you get a lot more interaction on TikTok, a lot more people on there commenting and liking and even the live streaming. If you live stream on TikTok, you can start getting paid money now. I've made money on TikTok lives.
That's crazy.
They gift you.
You would think that YouTube would be able to jump on the bandwagon, and you wouldn't have to need so much requirements, as far as to make any sort of change, But with TikTok doing it immediately, I mean, it's not life-changing money, but at least it's something.
Yeah, it adds up, and you save it. But I just use them all. I was even on Rumble for a while, but Rumble's very slow. There's not a lot of activity over there. It gets very boring.
Okay.
It's just not as big, hasn't been around as long, but it is growing. So I do have a Rumble thing. Instagram is probably the thing I hate the most. I don't post it.
All right.
I like using Instagram to chat.
That's what I was gonna I was going to ask you, like, if there's any time that I have a question that I wanted to ask you, like, outside of here, what's the best way to reach you? Just through Facebook Messenger? Is that your preference then?
I'll give you my favorite ways is just to be able to text you on my phone. So if you message me on Messenger, I'll just give you my cell phone number if you're cool with it.
That's perfect.
Much easier to text and call. Like
all right.
Ian and Tommy, I text and call. We call each other all the time.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that then after the live stream here. Then maybe I'll just send you a quick message if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I'll give you my number, and then it's just because I always have my work phone with me. See, what it is when I moved down here, I got a job with the company I'm still with.
Yeah.
And you get a company phone. As soon as I got a company phone, I got rid of my personal one because it's free. The only way, that's why it takes me forever to read Instagram messages or anything else to get on Facebook, because I can only do that on my iPad. My iPad's Wi-Fi only.
Yeah.
So much easier to get me on my phone. It's always with me.
Okay. Yeah, with my job, they give me a work phone too, but I don't know. I just kind of like my personal phone that's personally set up to it's just like a thing. Like I could just use my work phone as a personal phone, but I just like everything set up on my personal phone because my work's, long story short, is real stingy about like what you can and can't do on your work phone, because you're only supposed to use it for work purposes. And if I start downloading like YouTube, or if I start downloading my Fish app, or if I start downloading social media stuff, then I'm going to be like, oh, am I really allowed to do this? And I don't want to risk it. So that's why I still keep my separate phones.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
hey, any moderator, Ross or Carr, could you please share Mayhem's link in the channel and sub to her, because subbing to her is going to be nothing but a benefit to anybody who does, because she supports so much. Speaking of clear water, Red Laser was talking about saying clear. It wasn't about water, but it just brought your video to mind how well that inline UV did your water.
It's insane difference. Like I could not believe it just after about a week, because I actually saw a difference in the first couple of days, but then after a week, it was like you can't see anything in that water.
No, it was the only thing that I can compare that to with me is when I had the Chemicare Blue in my Mbuna tank. It was crystal clear.
Yeah, and that stuff's pretty nice too.
But
I've used that stuff before, but not currently, but I have.
But your way is better, because I don't know how long the light lasts before it burns out in that inline UV. But
I'm not sure either. I mean, I think it said like 20,000 hours, maybe. I can't remember. I have to look at the box. It's actually, hold on.
Biden already signed the bill. They either have to sell it to someone in the US or ban it.
It says 20,000 hours, so I don't know that equates to for months or years or whatever, but that's according to the box. So
20,000 hours. How many hours we got? 48 hours in a day, right? So what's 48 times 7? 7 days a week.
I'm using my phone as a camera, so I can't really calculate that out. If you want to do that real quick.
Hey, Google, what's 48 times 7? She's too low.
Here's 24 hours in a day, and then multiply it by 7 and go biannually.
Are you doing it now?
No, I was just reminiscing.
Oh. Hey.
There's a lot of.
There's 61,320 hours in a year.
61,000.
Yeah. So what I did is I took, it's 24 hours in a day, and if you times 24 hours in a day times 7, that's like 168. So then I took 168 times 365 days in a year, and that's like what I said.
All right. So 20,000 hours, you'd probably with continuous use, you'd probably have to replace the bulb every quarter, or maybe every
3 months,
third of the year. So I mean, that's not bad. I really like the idea of having to just replace the bulb as opposed to buying the smaller version of it that you connect to your 307, 407. You have to replace the whole entire unit once it goes bad. So
Right.
I think in the long run, if I were to get another one of these, I would probably buy it because in this tank is one of those 307s canister filters. And I feel like in the long run, it'd be cheaper just to buy another one of these and just use the adapters that go down to that hose size. So,
Okay. And Sweet said they last about a year. After that, they start getting weak, and that's why because I know I have a pond filter for my little pond I have outside, and it has a built-in UV light.
yep.
But it doesn't work. It keeps getting freaking algae. Like, it's right now it's blowing around green water. I got to clean it again. But it's a very small pond. I don't have fish in it, so I do get toads that enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah, they said the bulbs are cheap, so I'm hoping. I haven't looked at price of the bulbs yet, but it's better than spending money on a whole unit.
Or continually buying chemical filtration to cheap.
Yeah, that too.
So in the end, I think last time I saw that thing in PetSmart, I think it was about $100 or something.
For the smaller version?
I don't know.
Because like I mentioned in my video that like I haven't found this in stores around me, so I don't know if anyone else sells this. And like even when I went to the Fluval website, like they have it like on their website, but they don't have it for sale. And the only place I could find this was eBay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only place I could find it at. And this is 125, and like the smaller version that you connect to that's only made for the 307, 407, I think is like around $80 or $90 store bought.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's around like 50 or 60 on Amazon, I believe.
Those are on the shelf at my PetSmart, and I'm pretty sure I saw $100 on them. But
yeah, so that's pretty pricey for a small UV light, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if you can't replace the bulb. That's why I like this one, because of the bulb being replaceable.
Now I have one of the green machines, the green killer machines.
Yeah,
those are a good one too, but they're expensive. You have to the biggest one wouldn't even work in my biggest tank, and they cost a lot of money, but they do the trick. Because what is it? UV not only will help get the green water down and help it get crystal clear, but from what I understand, UV lighting and also help get rid of a lot of harmful bacteria and stuff and such.
I believe to a certain extent, but if you go really expensive, I actually tried to buy like a UV sterilizer, and those are like ridiculously like expensive, but you get what you pay for. And those are the ones that kill like a real harmful bacteria that could induce parasites to the fish. Mm-hmm. And it was not a Fluval, obviously. It was just one that I bought in the store, and it was, or Amazon actually, couldn't think of it. And I had a hard, long story short, I'll just make that I had leaks everywhere, so I just went with this. So.
And here's some useful information here from Coy.
Okay, for string algae, so it doesn't work for that then.
But it does kill off some of your good bacteria as well.
So you'd probably want to put one of those in on an established tank that has a crap ton of bacteria in there, so that way it doesn't kill off like all of it.
I'd have to say that'd be a pretty well seasoned, mature tank. The only reason why I have one is because I had one, I wanted to try it and have the experience. Two, I had it set up a tank, and I had a nasty algae bloom, and
okay.
Green water, and I wanted to see how long it would take to clear it out. I got too impatient and did water changes while it was in there running.
Yeah, that's what I did too, because I was just like, man, like with some of these smaller tanks, I had it happen to 2 of the 10s and 1 of the 40s, and I got to a point where, like you said, it's like, you know what, I just get too impatient. I know that's not ideal for the hobby, but I just bought one of those little bulbs that you can put on the hang of the back, because I literally have a hang of the back filter. It's I can't remember the brand, but I just stick that bulb in there and I just carry it to each tank, that if I ever have another algae bloom, I personally use that one and bring it to each tank for an algae bloom purpose. And just leave it there until next time it happens, or if I need to medicate, then I'll use that as an extra filtration to keep everything clean and healthy.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
It's a mobile hang on the back.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Wizzle's saying here, they have them in the pool business, and people think they don't need to use chlorine because they have them in there, and they think it's a cure-all. And I think a lot of things happen like that in that fish hobby. Completely. Oh, I got this. I don't have to do nothing. No, you're never gonna beat.
Nope.
Grease.
That is a fact.
So, and another thing I'm going to be trying that I learned about from Coro, and we were discussing it, I think, on my last live stream. I have one of those fluval breeder boxes that uses the airline to uptake the water.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, you can make a very cheap refugium out of one of those, or almost like, in other words, a hang in the back sump.
Were you talking about this last night, or is this something different?
I was talking about this on my last live stream.
Oh, okay.
But apparently, you can just, and he's got a video on it. I'm thinking you can grow plants out of it and use it as a refugium to help reduce algae.
Yeah.
And so I got one. I'm going to set that up. But then I thought, well, if I'm moving, what's the point?
Yeah, if I'm going to take the time to do this, and if I'm moving the next, 6 months or so, meh. We'll wait.
Mayhem, and I've done videos on this, and I've talked about this in the past, and from what I've researched, what I've talked about, and what I've seen in my own experience, fish can go weeks without eating, and some people like to go do that just to clean them out periodically. Now, do I like to let my fish go without a week without eating? No, I feed them every other day. I don't feed them every day, but fish can go weeks without eating, and some people do it purposely. Now, I'm not saying they let them go 2 weeks or maybe even a week, but some people do fast their fish for a week to clean them out.
It's healthy for them. Like on Sundays, that's the days I don't feed them. And like we might have had this discussion before, how I've changed my feeding habits from a lot less for higher quality food, like Northfin and everything. And then, you got to think too that whenever they're holding, they don't eat. So, there's that too. They go for a week, almost 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks of holding female, and they don't eat. So, they'll be fine. They may not act like it, but they will be fine.
Yeah, like the female Mbuna as mouth breeders, they keep them fish in their mouth, and then I read that they'll go 2-3 weeks without eating a damn thing.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that I've noticed too, that sometimes if you change a fish's diet, just to like what I've done in the past, couple months, moved to Northfin, I've had a lot better results, long story short. But it takes a while for them to get used to the new food sometimes, because if they're used to this food, they went like 3-4 days without even eating anything. They eat it, spit it back out, eat it and spit it back out. And then eventually after they got hungry enough, they started eating it, and now they're eating like crazy. So, yeah.
Right.
They can go probably a week or so, give or take, is probably okay. Nothing's going to happen to them as long as they're healthy.
Yeah, they're just like humans. Eventually they store a certain amount of nutritions and fats in their bodies that their body can use to keep itself going.
Yep.
But it's like, so if you wanted to have a fish tank, you wanted to go on a vacation, I would do a water change before I left, and I wouldn't even worry about it.
Yep.
I'm not buying.
Especially if it's for like a weekend or something, just do your water change, and if you're only gone for 3-4 days, you'll be fine. You could have maybe one person stop by for a day, and you'd be good.
Yeah, sprinkle some food in there, but even if I left for a week, I wouldn't even worry about it. I know that'd be okay. I take one of my ADT cameras from outside and bring it in so I can watch.
Yeah, there you go. Like, I want to know what's going on, and give them the fits if they're getting too aggressive.
Lights off and I'm out. I'm assuming he means like lights. I don't know. You going to bed, Ross? Are you leaving? I appreciate you coming in, buddy. If you're 2 days max, though. Okay. Well, Ross, the difference too, I think Ross is a breeder, so he's going to feed his fish. He wants them healthy, wants them growing, he wants them big, he wants the nutrition in there. And I think there's a difference between that when you're breeding and like me. I just keep fish for the hobby of it. I like keeping the fish. I'm not breeding them.
Yeah, if you have full-grown fish, especially that are even like, juveniles or something, you can feed them every day. But like with my hobby and breeding them and stuff, you have to feed these things every day, or else they just start killing each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the Mbunas, because the peacockets and the haps, I don't have too much trouble with them as far as the feeding habits and them killing each other. But I have with the Mbunas, I swear, with the Kenny eye down over here, it seems like they've gotten better, but when I first moved them over here, I had to keep up with feeding them. And if I didn't feed them, like I would notice personally that if I didn't feed them enough, there would be one sitting dead on the ground the next morning I came down here. But now that I've gotten to a routine of how much to feed and how often, I don't see that happen too much anymore.
Yeah, like you're saying, like Ross is saying, like I got these little baby fries and small and Mbunas that keep coming. I got these little ember tips. They're just growing. I will feed them every day, but they're so small. I have to use that little fried like powder food for them.
Yeah, that's what I use. And even like I'm assuming, like you said, in your Mbuna tank, you just use the powder and you just sprinkle it in just so at least gets down there so they can kind of pick at it. Is that kind of what you do?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Ross, I thought you meant you were going to bed, but I think what he meant was if he's going on vacation, lights off.
Oh, lights off and out the door. Yeah, that's makes the fish life busy for me is just keeping everybody fed, especially with the smaller fry. You have to feed those guys every day. So
yeah, they need the nutrition. So Ross ain't leaving his tanks for any more than 2 days. He ain't going. That's it. He ain't going any more than 2 days. So learning lots of cool. Every time I have a live stream, man, it just seems like they're getting better and better. And last Tuesday was fantastic. This one's been fantastic. Learning lots and sharing lots of information. I love it.
Very informative, very relaxed, chill, and it's always a good time joining on your live stream. So I appreciate it.
Well, no, I appreciate you. I'm glad you decided to come up.
Yeah, I had to do a couple things, before I got on, but I was glad I was able to make it for a little bit. So
you say makeup? Did you say you had to put your makeup on first?
Yeah, I had to put my makeup on first and put a shirt on, and get all
cute.
Yeah, just right for your live stream.
You laugh, but I did shave and cut my own hair before I come up because I was looking like a rough freaking lumberjack.
Well, that's kind of like what I do. If I know I'm going to be a live stream for a little bit, I don't want to look like I just woke up out of bed. At least somewhat presentable. Yeah, just mess everything up.
Yeah, don't want to look like crap. Oh yeah, my wife gets on. My wife, she likes to fish, but once I got things settled to where I was only doing monthly water changes and way less maintenance, it was a problem. She was getting mad at me for being in here too much, and that's something you got to weigh out when you're keeping this many fish, and you guys even more. Is the wife on board? Is the spouse on board, or the partner? If not, it's going to be a freaking issue.
Yep. I hats off to my wife, because when I was working for several days in a row on this past week, I had some regression issues with the Mbuna tank, and I wasn't even here to see it happen because one died, 2 that are in the healing process now, and the one female I'm just kind of leaving in here for a little bit to kind of eat a little bit for a few days and put her back in. But she was here and she told me the situation, and she's like, hey, I'm going to try to get this fish out. And you know how hard it is to get an Mbuna fish out with all this rockscape and all of them swimming around and not trying to knock the rocks down as you're trying to get the fish out. I mean, plus my daughter's a 1.5 years old. And so I'm just kind of like, I was like, well, good luck. If you need anything, just call. But hats off to her, because she really did a good job with taking the dead fish out, moving the sick one out into the quarantine tank, and did the whole treatment for me. I'm just kind of like, man, you're a better fish keeper than I thought.
Yeah.
So hats off to her. I'm really glad that she enjoys it. She doesn't do the maintenance side, but she doesn't mind feeding the fish. So
good. It does help. Car has a question for you.
Yellow labs, yes. There's yellow labs and there's one Kenny eye, and I actually have several Kenny eye way over there on my 75-gallon that are going out.
Labs. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, there's mostly yellow labs, a couple ACI yellowtail, one Kenny eye, and then there's 3. Oh shoot. Can't think of the name. It's slipped my mind. The electric blue Dahanis. That's what they are. But yeah, that's what I have in this one here.
I got one of those Johannes. Well, I might have more now. I don't even know what I got. They've all bred so much. I got to thin that herd out. I call it a herd because they're going to start inbreeding.
Yeah, you said you might have to start separating here because they just have so many of them.
But I tell you, some of the mixes that I got are amazing. Like my wife was pointing one out yesterday. It looks like one that's got a mix of all of them. It's got like a little yellow strip on the fin with black, and then it's got like the bumblebee Mbuna stripes.
Yeah.
But yet it's white and gray.
Some of the colors, like I think that's why I'm kind of excited to see my obese peacocks. I'm really excited to see them grow before like I decide to sell them or whatever I decide to do with them, because I'm interested to see what type of colors I get out of those things, because I know those can get pretty vibrant in different colorations. So that's the ones I'm most looking forward to.
It's fun, and that goes hand in hand. Like I don't want to start over. All these Mbunas, I started with 10. I got so many different types now. It's like I don't want to start that over.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's you just kind of get accustomed to enjoy what you have.
Oh, that was for both of us, Car. Yeah, I got one yellow lab. Well, no, I got more now because it did reproduce. So I got a bunch of yellow labs. I don't think I have any of those Kenny eyes, but I got so many shorts and videos out on them. All you have to do is go in my channel, and you're going to get a good look at how all of them in there. It's a lot. Hey, Swiffle, good to see you in the house. Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually going to be getting off and shutting this down in a few minutes. That'll give me 2.5 hours on here, and I gotta get.
Holy cow, 2.5 hours! Oh yeah, it does say 2.5 hours.
Yes, sir. Awesome. But I have no problem going 4 hours. But I got some things like I gotta get started on this pool and other things I gotta take care of. That's why I didn't have a tank so long. Mr. Ed said no, but now the dementia, he doesn't remember anymore. Well, at least you can have fun about it. Yeah, I got one of those. Well, probably 3 or 4 of them now. My favorite one are those yellowtail ACIs. I love that Mbuna, but it doesn't seem to be. It must be a female or something because there's none in here like her.
Yeah, they kind of have a bad rap because they can get a little on the aggressive side. But I mean, knock on wood, so far, shockingly enough, I think some of the labs are what's causing the issues with the other ones.
Yeah.
But
do you have any feet? See, and that's the other thing. I can't tell. I've asked Corey at Aquarium Co-op and other people, and his reply was me, good luck trying to sex them.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like sometimes in Mbunas, they can be some of the hardest things to decide if they're male or female until they start holding. And then they're like, obviously, but I've had females that have had the black bars, and I've had females that don't have the black bars.
Yeah, and that's what I say.
Yeah, I've had them both hold.
Yeah, they say your males are the colorful and the females aren't as colorful. Well, but yet they can also both be colorful. And that's the case here. They say they can have dummy eggs or not dummy eggs. Well, they both have them. Yep. The only way you can really tell is to go down there and look at their parts, but I can't even tell that.
Nope. It's very hard to, especially like at a teenage or juvenile year. I mean, you really just don't know until they physically start holding eggs. Because the female I'm looking at now has like the pointy fin. It's got the egg spots. The very back fin on the very end. It's really, it's really not. I can't say colorful, but it's real flashy. But it's a female.
Yeah.
So.
And
it's the one that's gotten me most of my females. My fry over the other tank over there. So.
Right. Very cool, Car. That's awesome, man. I'll be looking forward to seeing that on your videos. Swiffle, he has to vent them all. Well.
Yeah, there's Kenny eye. They're really cool to see them. Even at a younger age, you'll see the more dominant male ones. They'll turn into that yellowish, tiger color.
Right. Yeah, it's cool, and I love how they change how fish can just change their coloration depending on their mood. Like I got one of them bumblebee cichlids in here. He's one of my biggest Mbunas. If I go in there and I scare him, he'll go from a beautiful yellow with black stripes, looking like a straight up bumblebee, to looking like a freaking
ghost,
pale. It's like,
yeah.
I thought only iguanas could do that.
Yeah, it's amazing how quick they can change their color.
Oscars will do it. They'll go pale, and it's amazing how they can change their colors. My tiger barbs will change colors like that. It's like, I didn't know fish could do that, man.
Carr was saying that electric blue Johannies, they said they changed color. I didn't think they did, unless it's just a different kind, because I knew Kenny I did, obviously, but
My angelfish lose black stripes when they're mad. Yeah, it's neat. It's awesome. That's another thing I can't tell is sex is angelfish, and I'm reading on how to do it while looking at mine in front of the tank. They say, well, look at the crown. If it's more humped, it's a male. If it's more slant, it's a female. I'm looking at that. They look the same to me. But I know I got females in here because I had them have babies one time.
yep.
But okay. Well, it says there's like a few things you can look at their fins. I was looking at that. They look the same to me. It's like I don't know how people do this.
That's the way I look at it too. And you go to someone who thinks they know everything, and I'm just like, well, what they told me is completely opposite of what my situation is. So it's just like there's, like you said, like I don't even know what to think anymore.
Like here, so the crown thing is obviously a thing because Whipple's talking about it, and then Ross says patience is best. Yeah, it's like I'll just wait to see who gives.
You know what's really crazy? Long story short, is I actually had to drop off. There's a haplochromine called it's a Victorian cichlid, but it's called an obliquidens. But long story short, like I actually went on a Facebook group to try to ask if it was a male or female, because I tried to, after quarantine it for like a little over a month, I tried to put it in my peacock and hat tank, and the whole tank just went nuts. Oh. Like everyone started reacting to like how like if you drop a female into an all male tank, they all start digging holes and now start going crazy. And people on Facebook were like saying the direct opposite of what I thought, what this one was, that they're saying it was a male. And I said, I put it in, and they all started digging holes, and the fish just started acting crazy. And as soon as I took him back out, and he was really aggressive too, everything was fine again.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, I'm just like, I've never, because even like there's I call him OG because he was my first OB peacock, so I named him OG. But main guy, mainstream, just to show off my tanks, right?
I wanted to get one zoom in.
Yeah, but
Ross,
yeah, even OG, my OG OB, he I've never seen him do this because he's so chill. He's been the most chill fish in the entire tank. And as soon as I added that obliquidens in, he started digging holes and guarding his territory and started going after that thing. And it just created chaos on the entire tank. It was nuts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes you never know what you're going to get. Every fish is different sometimes.
Right. It was like a box of chocolates.
Ross says that obliquidens don't have that color. Is that what he's talking about? Or maybe he's talking about the electric blue Johanny. I'm not sure.
Which one? Ross?
I don't have YouTube up, so I can't read the chat. Oh, so they do have different colors then. Okay. Seems like the more and more I hang out in front of this Mbuna tank on live streams, that they're more comfortable they get, which is good because that was my end goal.
Yeah, that is something they mentioned, is to spend more time. But
yeah,
and where my fish are, people are constantly around them. We eat in here. I'm always in here. So
they get that interaction all the time.
I think that's one thing you lose. If I was going to say there's only one negative about having a basement fish room, which I miss. I love my basements. I think down in the basement, away from the mainstream of the house, I think you're going to have fish that are a little bit more skittish, because the only one they're used to is the guy that coming in there, aka you.
Yep. Yeah, that's the only downfall, is you're not going to have that constant interaction unless you're spending time down here doing YouTube videos, doing live streams like we are now, and that's the only way it's going to get them to be more comfortable to come out and hang out. But yeah.
Yellow lab.
I think that's why my peacock and hat tank works so well, because we eat dinner in front of the tank. We're always in that room, constantly in the kitchen and stuff. So they always have that interaction, and that's why I want that between that and the Fantoza tank to be the main displays, because that's where the dining room is and that's where the kitchen is. So
right.
Is Swiffle talking about my labs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, these labs have really looked really nice. I'm really nervous to add like any type of fish in here, because I swear every time that I try to add any more fish in here. It's like all these fish, they want their tank to themselves. Because like I said, when I tried to add these other little lads from upstairs, this whole tank just didn't like them. They're happy with who's in here, and it's really weird. So I'm gonna make one more attempt, but after that, I'll probably just leave it the way it is if it doesn't work. But yeah, I appreciate the comment. I'm really glad to see these guys come out, and hang out for a little bit. Sometimes it's rare.
Yeah. Well, Price tag. What is your name again?
Joe.
Jim.
Joe. All
right. Well, Jim, thank you for coming up again. I appreciate
it. Joe.
Joe.
Not Joe. Yes. Not Jim. It's O.
Sounded like you said Jim, man.
I get that a lot, so you're not the first.
Joe, I'm going to try to remember that because I get tired of saying price tag.
Sometimes I do too. I get that at work a lot too, so it's all fair enough.
Here's I don't know if you haven't heard of this one. There's a suggestion for you.
Yeah. So that was the other Swiffle. I wanted to say that I did buy some Texas Holy Rock. So after these guys are done in their quarantine process and start to heal up, before I add these guys in, along with I did buy a group of Mbunas from Imperial Tropicals. So I'm going to bring them in. They're supposed to be here Monday, and I'm going to put them all together and then rearrange the tank and then add them together as one with the Texas Holy Rock. So that's my last thing to do to help them be a little bit more social, long story short. So.
Well, very, very cool. Joe, I appreciate you coming out and hanging out with me again. I always
thanks, Jesse, for inviting me not inviting me, but letting me come on to your stream. I appreciate it. It's been fun.
Any time you want to. So
okay.
I am going to jump off. I got things to take care of. I certainly appreciate everybody that came in and hung out with me and supported and gave me some advice for moving fish over long distances. And I got a video that dropped out at 11 o'clock this morning. Check that out. There's some pretty good humor and the introduction of that video. I think you'll like too, Joe.
Yes, I saw it pop up on my notifications.
You're gonna laugh. It's funny.
Okay, sounds savvy. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with you, Jesse, and everybody else, and I really enjoy the interaction. It's been a lot of fun, so I do appreciate it.
Oh, it is. I appreciate you. When I started this channel 2 years ago, I didn't think this is what it was going to turn out to be, and you really do make friends and do a lot of networking.
You really do. That's the whole purpose, just to have a real relaxed conversation and enjoy it with everybody else in the community. So that's the important part.
Swiffle must have already watched it.
Watch what?
My video.
Oh. One thing that I was going to ask you, are you, before we go, it will probably be within the next couple of days, but I was going to steal something from one of your videos. But I really love the comedy that you did in some of your videos. So I don't know if you were going to plan to just splash that in every now and then with some of your videos, if you liked it or not. But what made me think about it is that one time where you did your water test and you were like, drinking it, and you're like, don't do that. So I was going to ask you, this is kind of a silly permission to ask, but I was going to do a relative one of that and like put them all together. Of course, use different liquids and just do a short on it.
Yeah.
So just as a comedy sort of thing. So go ahead. I didn't want to steal from your thunder, but.
Bro, I don't own it. It's just something that came in my head. You do what you want to do. I'm not a snowflake that way. So you do. That was
fair enough. But yeah, I was telling Ash, like, I'm gonna, buy certain stuff from the store and put it in the little bottles and kind of taste each one. And I don't know, we'll see how it goes. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I cleaned the test tube out with a bottle brush and soap before I did that, and that was apple juice. But you could get like anything blue for nitrates, like Powerade or something, or a Gatorade.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm probably gonna go with that.
For your nitrates, you could do like red Kool-Aid or something.
Okay, I was thinking maybe there's got to be something red that I could use.
Kool-Aid or a Gatorade. You could probably use the different colored Gatorades for all of them.
Probably for like the ammonia, just use like lemonade or something.
Yeah, but keep in mind what he said here before you go watch that. There was a shovel involved.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Sounds good.
All right, I'm getting out. I appreciate all you guys. I'm getting out.
See you, Jesse. I'll hit you up for your digits on Facebook Messenger here shortly, and then see everybody else. Take care.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good weekend.
You too.